Yay!
Hello.
Hello! Happy birthday, Deck of Worlds! We were trying to figure out whether we would do something different than how Peter normally does it, and then we decided that this was going to be the way. Um, it's the Deck of Worlds 5th anniversary live stream. Hello, hello to everyone who's joining us. And look, what a way to celebrate a 5th birthday than to get a glow up. I know we've shared with you before, but Deck of Worlds is now green.
Very, very, very green. We did have people say like they thought it always was. We created a real Mandela effect moment. The box used to be the same yellow as the story engine, but the color scheme for Deck of Worlds inside was always green.
Yeah. So very interesting. I know some folks have asked about how to get it. I will say we can't guarantee whether you would end up getting a green deck if you haven't gotten one yet. Perhaps save for like maybe the US and Canada, because we did sell out of them last year. So whoever's buying them now have the new iteration. Actually, I want to ask, is anyone in the chat like, hello, Decklings, where are you? CG
Okay, well, we're using that again.
Yeah,
Decklings.
Decklings. I love that. Now, is Decklings like everyone who's part of the story engine, like whether it's story engine Deck of Worlds, or is it because it's Deck of Worlds, it's specifically Decklings? I want to know. But if you actually have a copy of the green, maybe shout out in the chat, like, when did you guys get Deck of Worlds? When did it join your family? Did you participate in the Kickstarter, which of course then you would have like one of the OG Deck of Worlds? Or have you joined our family fairly recently, and maybe you have a green Deck of Worlds? Let us know. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Miroki.
Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish.
I'm the CEO of the Story Engine and one of the co-founders, and this is Eric.
I am the community manager is my official job title. I also do a lot of the writing and some of the design as well.
Yes, and maybe some of you might be asking, there might be one third person who is missing today, and that is our deck creator, Peter. And Peter is hanging out with family this weekend. There is, I think, a very important thing that he's doing in his world. So you guys are going to be partying with us. So, I like it. Dragon Shadow already saying, bought in the US this year, last live stream, have the green box. I am totally.
It's like if you really want to make sure you get it, I suppose you could wait like 2 or 3 years, and then I'm pretty sure all the yellow ones will definitely be out of circulation.
Are we gonna become like Pokemon cards, where in a few years everyone's gonna be like, I'm looking for the yellow box Deck of Worlds, and then it's gonna be worth $1 million.
I was gonna say like magic cards, where it's like they don't print these anymore. You had to be in at the ground floor.
Yeah, and Russ here saying got Deck of Worlds. Yes, it's green. Where did you get it? Also, like, let us know where you guys are all tuning in from. I think we saw some folks coming in from Germany, who kind of joined right before we went live. So welcome. I know this is probably a little late for you over there. I know for once, because normally our live streams are about like mid-afternoon. But folks coming in from Guelph, Ontario, right? I'm gonna make a lucky guess here. And I say that because we're tuning in from Toronto over here, West Coast Canada. So that would be mid-afternoon for you for once. From Texas, courtesy of Dag. What's Dag?
I don't know.
You're gonna have to tell us is it family it, dude? You're gonna have to tell us what Dag, DAG, means. Tuning in from Australia, bright and early. We have Dead Aussie Game, who we're actually gonna see a little bit later on in the live. He's gonna be joining us for some speed world building. Super, super excited. We don't have a lot of Australian friends join us. Which is probably, when we normally stream at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, it's like 2 or 3 in like the morning over in Australia. So for any of our folks who are joining in from Europe, super kudos, 11 o'clock at night. So thank you for letting us know the time difference. Hey, you know what? I don't know if anyone in the chat is a night owl. I'm a night owl. I famously go to sleep at like 3 in the morning. So we're the crowd. We're the night owl crowd. So lots of things planned for this live stream. Eric, I don't know if you want to share what's about to happen over the next few hours.
So what is about to happen over the next few hours is we are going to have 3 special guests, and we will be making a world with all of them. One is Rachel Kimberly Hastings, aka Storyteller Treehouse, will be up first. Our second guest is actually here already.
Yes.
It is all of you because we're being cheeky about it. We're gonna hand things over to the chat, and it's gonna be a completely voted on world. So that will be our most chaotic world. And then our final guest will be Michael, the Dead Aussie Gamer, who is also, I know, hanging out as well. So most of the guests are present and accounted for already. And we're just going to do one world at a time. And we're going to do this a little bit more quickly than we normally do to make sure we have enough time to get to everything. We've got like a kind of like a 30 to 35 minute hard cap for how long each one of these worlds takes.
Yeah, so what we're doing is speed world building, and we actually done this before, and it was so much fun. We thought we would do it again, where ourselves and a guest literally are going to build a world together in about 30-35 minutes. I think the last time Peter did, he did even shorter, he did in 25 minutes, and it was so sad because everyone was doing all these cool things, and it was like, and then it's over. So we decided to extend it by like just 5 to 10 minutes, just so we could have a little bit more world building together. I wanted to share a little bit about the story of Deck of Worlds. I know some of you have said you just bought the Deck of Worlds recently. Some of you got it a couple years ago, and some of you might have been with us from the very, very beginning, 5 years ago, may I add, which is when we launched our Kickstarter campaign.
Kickstarter. You did it again. Kickstarter.
Kickstory. I just care so much about storytelling. It's just about Kickstory now, but this started with a Kickstarter campaign. So, 5 years ago, after the Story Engine deck, which is our very first deck, kind of came to life, Peter decided, I want to make another one, and I want to do it around world building. And it just blew up in a way that we just never, ever expected it to go. I think like overnight, Peter's like, oh my God, we have so many backers. I only asked for, I think, like 50,000. And then he was like, oh, in the hundreds. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like literally, the world built itself. It took on a world of its own.
I do think it's fair to say that we would not all be sitting here now without that Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah. So thank you to all the backers who supported us from the very beginning, because of you, we get the chance to all build worlds live together and just do so many amazing things. The amount of worlds that we've all built on this live stream. I think in the last live stream, some of you guys do. You guys have really good memories. We were talking about the pickle wall, the pelican. I think if you watch any of our previous live streams, you can see some of the zany things that we have made it. I almost feel like at some point, oh my God, I have this like cool live stream idea, guys. Like, let me know if you think this is something we should do in the future. We should go back through the live streams and find some of like the highlighty moments that we have done and bring it together on one live stream and be like, this is the through line, this is the prompt, and now when you build additional worlds on this. Yeah?
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe. It's a good idea. It's a lot of hours.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We can do it. Hey, chat. Actually, if you guys have remember things of the I guess the highlights of previous live streams, you can throw it in the chat right now, and maybe we'll we have the really lovely Rachel behind the scenes with us today, who is going to help answer any of the questions you guys have about perhaps Deck of Worlds, our store, anything that's coming up. She's here for us, but if you guys throw maybe some of the I guess like the greats of previous live streams in the chat, Rachel can document them all, and then you can save us a few hours of work. And then Eric will be on board to do this.
I will. I've been voluntold.
You've been voluntold, and so
that's okay.
Deck of Worlds, we have our main deck, and of course with the Kickstarter campaign, we released 9 expansions as well. We have 3 genre-based expansions we will also be using during our live stream today. We have fantasy, horror, and science fiction. I like you're just holding them all. You gotta hold them higher over the sign. Over the sign. Yeah. We have our 3 cartography-based expansions, coastlines, desert, and Arctic. And then we have our 3 creative expansions, lore fragments, culture keyholes, and adventure prompts. So we can use any and all of them to build today. So many things about to happen. And again, yeah, guys, if you guys have questions, ask them in the chat. We will try and get to them as often as we can. Now, one of the things we should say is that it is never a birthday without a little bit of gift giving back to you guys. So we have a couple of things going on this weekend. So between now through Monday, we have a sale going on our website. If you purchase any of our Deck of Worlds and Deck of Worlds related products, if it's you buy our main deck and any of our bundles, it's 10% off. And so if Deck of Worlds is in it, it's 10% off. So that includes our big bundles like Trilogy, which I know is on pre-order right now because not to deviate away from Deck of Worlds, not to make sure our child enjoys their birthday to the fullest, but Lore Masters deck is now sold out in the US. Why are you Deck of Worlds, Lore Masters deck is sold out in the States, which is just unbelievable. This is the first time it is sold out. Never thought we would get here, but here we are, and we're working our darndest to make sure we restock as soon as possible. But if you do pre-order Trilogy, pre-order All Lore, Deck of Worlds isn't even in All Lore. Pie, out of the way. But if you order Trilogy, you can pre-order it. So Deck of Worlds and any of our bundles are 10% off. If you purchase any of our expansions, they are 15% off. And if you purchase any of our Deck of Worlds accessories, so that's our folding boxes, the Build Your World playmat, which we will show you very, very shortly, our lovely playmat to keep your space crumb-free. And we actually have some limited Build Your World pins left. That came from our Lore Masters deck crowdfunding campaign. And it was just limited for that run. So we're actually very, very short. There's not that many left. You can get them for 25% off. So I think it was 15% off.
15%
I can't
off.
Even math. You heard me say nothing on this live stream, guys. Hiroki just going off the rails, just giving things away.
Well, if Peter's not here, so somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to go off the rails. And today it's Hiroki just giving away gifts for free. But we do but actually, if I am speaking of 25, we do have a $25 gift card that we are giving away. So see, my number 25 was correct. And Eric, do you want to share with everyone what you need to do to get that $25 gift card? Because we are going to draw the winner on this live stream.
Yes. If you check any one of our social channels, that includes Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Threads. There will be a post there from a couple days ago asking you to respond to a prompt. I believe that it'll say wrong answers only, and I'm asking everybody to tell us about a game and maybe with some of the details mixed up. So it's from our lore. The prompt is actually from the Lore Fragments expansion, which is this one right here, which is great for coming up with kind of like in-world things like graffiti or menus or letters home, all kinds of things. But for this particular prompt, we are reporting on a game or a sport that might exist in a world or a real one, and then we are misremembering some of the details. So go there, find the post. The instructions are there. Just like the post, follow us, and respond to it, and you can still get your name into our hat, which looks like this, which already has a few names in it, but we can always add more.
I also like that it's a hat, the hat that kind of like suggests the beaches, because I think Chorus of Echoes here just said they bought the Coastal expansion to round out the D&D campaign, and it's a very, very beachy thing. So I appreciate that. And I also do not like being called out by Francis here saying, am I not the math person of the trio? Yes, but have you ever tried like speaking live while doing math at the same time? It's very hard. Like right now, as I speak to you, I cannot come up with any sort of mathematical equation or answer in my head because I am just trying to create words. There's two sides of me. And today it is the word side of me.
There's the math side and the tired side.
Don't tell anyone. We're very lively, happy people. We just traveled. We just came back from New York City, actually. So we're a little bit travel worn. We also, this is completely unrelated to Deck of Worlds, guys, but I don't know. It has to do with the world in some ways, so I'll bring it up. We both saw Bloodywood in concert last night. If you guys haven't seen Bloodywood, they're an amazing Indian folk metal band, and like a lot of their music talks a lot about like, you know, ending oppression, ending the empire, ending slavery, and you know, what is all the worlds that we're trying to create if they're not often worlds where we're trying to end conflict and find peace, right?
Through very loud music.
Through very loud music. So, oh, we got thunder here. Oh, yes. Keith Davis saying Bloody Wood and Baby Metal have a great collab. They do. They actually played it last night.
Just without they had
just without the ladies.
Yeah.
Just without the ladies. So yes, if you guys want a chance to win a $25 gift card, check out our socials, give us a follow, and find the prompt that Eric mentioned about misremembering a game. Maybe we'll even share some of the
I would love to
throughout the live stream, because there's some good. Actually, why don't you throw a couple of them now? You don't have to name the names, but just throw a couple of this. I was reading through them earlier. Some of you guys have written like stories, like whole stories, which is pretty cool.
I think one of my favorites was actually somebody who kind of described something that sounds very much like a game they played as kids. Bounce a tree nut off the bark of an elder hardwood without hitting a younger member of your family running by the tree, which sounds very much like the sort of dumb thing you play when you're kids that has very made up rules. And that is very much in the spirit of what we're going for here. I also, we had a, let's see, what else have we got?
That's a novel one.
Yeah,
there
were able
to truncate this.
There's also one called Pogo Ball, and the details are very misremembered, so I'm not 100% sure how this game works. I do know the person describing it says the Jets scored 3 goals, but I'm not sure if Pogo Ball has goals or if the Jets are the home team. So, yeah, you don't have to get the game right, but it should be fun.
In fact, you shouldn't get the game right. That's
exactly
the whole point. If I guessed it, it is too easy. You guys were too accurate. Well, we have one other thing that we want to tease, and we're going to actually release it on the live stream. So make sure you stay tuned. We do have a cool resource that we are launching for the Deck of Worlds birthday, which is it's actually interesting. It was someone who reached out to us. They had read our blogs and said, this resource that was shared on this blog is really cool. Do you guys have it? And we went back and I looked at it and went, oh, we haven't shared this in a long time, because it was actually a backer exclusive during the last Kickstarter campaign. It was created by Seth Ring. And we thought, well, what better time than to bring this resource to life for everyone than for Deck of Worlds' 5th birthday.
So the resource is called the Cartographer's Notebook, and it is a small little world building tool. It's a series of 4 printable pages. So it's a PDF that you can kind of print out, and they're kind of laid out in a way to make Deck of Worlds more not more interesting, but to kind of add a little bit of character to your notes. So each one page kind of looks like a map. And every kind of page is kind of formatted, so it's like a little bit like old parchment if you printed it, on a nice brown piece of paper. And I'd like to think of it as kind of just like a very evocative way to kind of capture the notes from the world you're building and kind of give it a little bit of flavor, like make it already like slot right into your world. Like this is the old piece of parchment or the old tome that your characters would find that they can immediately interact with. So for me, it's just kind of like a fun resource that allows you to like take notes down and then keep it all organized in a very fun way that also kind of like sparks up your imagination, because you're not just seeing it on lined paper, you're now seeing it in this fun little format.
Yeah. And I think what I liked about it a lot too is that we have a lot of folks who often ask us how they should use our decks. And usually my answer is however you would like it. I actually just met an author recently who sort of says, I was showing him again how the deck worked, and he went, oh, it's so interesting that you tuck it in this modular way. I just kind of grab whatever cards I want and I just kind of throw them down and I use what I want to use. And I was like, honestly, like if that's the way you use it, that's the way that you use it for you. So, but what I liked about Seth's resource is that he's kind of like created a bit of the shape of how you're supposed to, or how he thinks you should lay the cards down, and creating that template for you is a really useful way if you're just getting started for the first time. If I was really intelligent, I would have actually loaded an image in advance so I could just tease it for you guys. But I didn't do that. So you guys are just going to have to stick around, because what we're going to do, the resource is going to be launched on Monday. So this is the official announcement. It's being launched on Monday. But for you guys, for those of you who are participating in the live stream, we will drop the link in advance so you can actually pick it up today if you want. So you get it ahead of everybody else. And also thank you, Ricky, for wishing us a happy birthday. Turning 5 is a very important thing. That is half a decade years old. And in decades, now, Okay. Let me, what do you guys think? If a deck is 5 years old, is the deck like ancient? Is that like 50 in human years? Or is the deck a baby? Is like this is a little small child, still like a little brat discovering the world.
It's definitely not 50. I don't. It might be older than 5, but it's not 50.
Yeah, deck years is not 50 human years.
No,
not like a wizened, old,
no.
middle-aged. Shouldn't say old, wizened, like middle-aged, like adventurer type. No.
No, I don't think so. I think it's still a rambunctious teen at most.
Okay. All right. Well, again, if folks have questions, drop in the chat. This is the opportunity for you guys to ask us what's up. Wait, hold on. 5. And then and soon we're going to be joined by Rachel Kimberly Hastings to do some speed world building. Who's going to be doing the first round with us. 5 human years equals 1 deck month. Oh, that's a lot of math. Wait.
That means that the deck is very young.
Yeah.
That means that this deck is 1 month old.
Oh God. Yeah, the deck's like a real baby. Oh, so we have to maybe we shouldn't even be celebrating the deck's birthday yet, guys. Okay, we're gonna take back the birthday. 5 human years is 1 deck month. We have to wait like 60 years before we can celebrate its first birthday. Oh, here we have roughly a 30-year-old, seasoned, tested, and still current and in its prime. I love how you have decided. I remember someone once telling me that turning 30, they said someone said if I died and went to heaven, it was actually an old English teacher. Go figure. They actually said to me, if I died and went to heaven, I would like to be 30. Because 30 is like the perfect year to be alive. So seasoned, tested, and still current in its prime. I appreciate that. You have to take it in hand for to do anything. I mean, that's true. That would be the toddlerness of it. It's like the deck just kind of sits around. Unless the deck is like the kind that's like, I'm just discovering myself and I'm not ready to leave home yet. And I'm just going to hang around. It's like a genius. But unless you poke the genius, be like, no, you got to get out of your basement and do stuff. It just doesn't do anything. Maybe that's what the deck is. A creative genius who's like, ugh, you just have, but I don't think the world needs to see who I am and my genius. And then you need a tiger parent like myself that's like, open up, do things, create art, writing. Yeah. But maybe actually speaking of writing, if you guys are working on any projects or any campaigns right now, do let us know in the chat what you're working on. I know earlier, someone said that they got the coastal expansions to flesh out their D&D campaigns. Let us know. Let us know, what are you doing in your campaigns? Why the coastal expansion specifically? Are your adventurers now kind of venturing, to the seashore? You guys are doing stuff on the ports. Maybe you guys are engaging in pirates and taking a ship out into the sea, or are you doing something in the islands? I would like to know. Maybe let us know what your favorite expansions are, or maybe what expansions you're gonna want to see on the live. I know for me, I have famously, I think, always used the desert expansion a lot. I think it's super underrated. Maybe part of it was because when I read Young Jedi Knights, you guys remember that before, Disney decided to eliminate the whole extended Star Wars universe? It was Han Solo and Leia's kids, and then they went off on adventures, and it was the definite teen Star Wars book that we read, and they went to the Twi'lek planet. I do not remember the name of the planet.
I don't
think it started with a K. Anyways, the planet, I guess, didn't rotate, and because it didn't rotate, one side was pure hot blistering desert, and the other half was just cold, destitute land. And I was kind of really into it. So I really think about the desert a lot.
It's Ryloth, apparently.
Ryloth. Where did the K come from?
Maybe from Twi'lek.
Maybe from Twi'lek. Yeah, Ryloth. Actually, it's like my synapses are connecting right now. It's funny because now that I think about it, I'm like, wait, if a planet doesn't rotate, does it actually keep a single facing to the sun though? I'm not 100% sure. I feel like the science in me is now.
Also, there was a whole movie where the Earth would die if our core stopped rotating. So
yeah, it's true. It was made in China.
No, not that one. There's also the one from called The Core.
What was The Core?
They have to drill into the middle of the Earth.
I don't remember this film at all. I remembered the one that I guess the Earth didn't stop rotating in the one that was made in China. They just spring shot at the Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna spring shot the Earth off its orbit, and somehow that's gonna save all of humanity and not just completely annihilate the planet as we know it. I want to read this thing. Chorus of Echo, starting a Pirates of Dark Water inspired Eberron campaign this summer. Mostly live in the Midwest, want some fresh inspiration on coastal stuff. I love that. I love that I call it the pirates element. And then we also have here Keith working up an open table, West March's style campaign. Fantasy age is the leading rule set, but that might change, aiming for something very pulpy. Been reading early weird telltale stories lately. I love that. I love that it's pulpy as well. Pulp fiction is actually something I haven't really been engaging in for a little bit, but it's nice to come back to that. It's not like a genre I'm super familiar with in terms of being able to create, which is probably why we have the Pulp Fiction booster, which I should probably stare at a little more often. But that's Story Engine. I do not want to ignore our child, the Deck of Worlds. Focus, Moroki, focus. Today's Deck of Worlds birthday only.
He's like a true middle child. You keep talking about the oldest and the youngest.
Yeah. Yeah, middle child, awkward middle child syndrome. If you're looking for title lock, Mercury's totally locked to the sun. What?
I think this is about the rotating planet thing.
Right. No. I know what. I was just the science nerd in me was really getting super jazzed up here. Pirates of Dark Water was such an awesome campaign. Pulp tropes are really useful for running an RPG campaign. Yeah, that's. I feel like Keith, you're going to be the expert to talk to me about pulp tropes because that's something. I don't know if it's one of those because I was raised ESL. Like whether it was just a particular subgenre that I didn't engage a lot in growing up, or I didn't really understand. I think a lot of these like niche subgenres for me were often like meshed together in one thing. So it wasn't until I was much older that I spent some time like in English literature learning how to parse all the little tiny details there. So yeah, but we also have Jimmy toying with a game setting called Roll and Roll.
I mean, it's a good name for an RPG.
Yeah, I've never heard of Roll. That's actually hilarious. I know I famously don't like puns, but I'm kind of into this roll and roll energy here. Well, I know our guest is backstage. Rachel, I do see you back there. And so she's just about to join us from Storyteller Treehouse. I hope you guys are all excited. And of course, if you guys have questions for Rachel, I know we're going to be super busy world building, but obviously, if you have questions for Rachel, please throw them in the chat as well. And we'll do our best to answer them throughout the chat and beyond. Check out our birthday sale at storyenginedeck.com. 10% off Deck of Worlds and all the bundles tied to it, even the pre-orders like Trilogy. 15% off our expansions and our accessories. And again, some of them are limited. So if you guys are like looking to get some cool swag, we probably won't make those again because they were crowdfunding exclusives. Eric.
Yes.
Are you ready to bring Rachel on stage?
I am.
You are ready
yes, I am ready. I'm ready to make some worlds.
Oh my god!
I have Deck of Worlds all set up here, and I am ready to start adventuring.
Okay. Well, we have Rachel Kimberly Hastings of the Storyteller Treehouse coming to join us in just 2 minutes. She grew up in Minnesota, where she has spent hours in the woods making up fantastical adventure stories with siblings and friends. I love that so much. She could be frequently found perched in the branches of her favorite climbing tree, reading a new fantasy novel. I feel like I need to ask Rachel advice on how to climb trees because I would say that's the one thing I never knew how to do as a kid. She has over 7 years of experience in animation production at studios such as Nickelodeon, Skydance, and Warner Brothers. So without further ado, Rachel, I'm going to bring you to the stage. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Awesome. Happy birthday to the Deck of Worlds.
Yay! 5th birthdays are very important. Although someone said early in the chat that apparently 5 human years is only 1 deck month. So
this thing is very young.
Yeah, this is a tiny infantile baby apparently. Well, Rachel, first question that I had to ask you is how does one climb a tree?
Well, a lot of practice, I guess.
A lot of practice. So
Yeah.
I gave you the intro. Rachel, is there anything else you would like to tell our chat about yourself that I might have missed?
Sure, yeah. I'm also a novelist. I write a lot. I haven't published anything long yet, just short stories. So I've been in some anthologies and things like that. But yeah, lots of things in progress.
Lots of things. I mean, I feel like as writers, that's us all the time, where we always like have like 80 ideas that
Yep,
are
yep.
banked away. Back earlier this it wasn't spring, it was winter, I guess. It was winter, because we were like, it's cold outside, let's all do writing sprints together. So we did our first like rounds of writing sprints. I think we ran 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And Peter and Eric basically were like forcing me to pull up projects that I had just totally just benched, and was like, you know what, I'm never going to look at this ever again. I've like moved past it. And they were like, no, you must bring it up. And I was bringing up these old stories, and I was like, oh, I guess there is still hope in the future on these, and actually got me writing again, which was fun. But then that just means I created yet more things that I am not finishing.
Well, that's the awesome thing about writing, though, is like you can always mine old ideas and find great material for other things.
Yeah, I know, like, I know there was like, it was something interesting. I think it was actually one of Peter's other speed world building live streams. He called it like his organ cooler box of ideas. Where he's like,
I call mine the orphanage.
Wow, the orphanage of ideas and the organ cooler of ideas. That isn't just like a really creepy story waiting to happen.
There you go.
I think the organ cooler actually sounds creepier.
No, but
definitely.
But if it starts at an orphanage, like there's some really like weird like harvesting of organs.
No, they get adopted. It's okay.
Yeah, adopted. That's what happens. Absolutely. But yeah, he was calling it the organ cooler of ideas, where he was like saying, yeah, they're just, they're things that you kind of put on ice, and then it makes it so much easier for you to kill the babies in your stories as a result. And I was like, wow, this one places. It's probably because he was world building something horror related with Brent Lambert, actually. So we actually have a story, a question being thrown in from, I'm going to say the name, Fantrax. If we get the chance to throw in questions for Rachel, would like to hear about how you perceive world building in real world settings like The Office, Friends, or Homeland. That's actually a great question.
That's a great question. Yeah. So I mostly do like speculative fiction, but I have written contemporary fiction, especially mysteries, and I approach it very similarly. So I think about the setting as a character, and the setting, the location, the world, whatever you want to call it, it has to mesh with the themes and plot of the story in order for it to feel natural. So like in my mystery novel that I wrote, the setting was an old hotel on the seaside, and that became the world of the story. So I had to really think carefully about how it influenced the characters, how it influenced the plot, how it influenced, like how that history from that location influenced the story I was telling. So I think of it's very similar to writing a fantasy novel. It's just you have to do more research from the real world to make sure that it fits.
You can't just casually, it's like when you're doing speculative fiction, it's like, yeah, how did this happen in magic? Wizard.
Yeah, you can make it up. You can make up your rules. Whereas in the real world, you have some actual rules you need to follow.
it's like that wizard had at the very least just be a lightning bolt, or something else coincidental, but
right.
I think the thing I remember when I was speculative, so like fantasy obviously is a different genre than science fiction, but they both kind of carry some parallels when you're having to design a whole new world outside of the real world. But one of the things that a lot, like I talked about in a course I did on science fiction during my undergrad, our professor was sort of saying that science fiction is inherently a reflection of things that are happening in the real world. They're often used to address social, economical, political situations and framing it in a slightly different way so that the reader is more receptive to it. Obviously, War of the Worlds being famously about British colonialism. So I feel like inside, and I feel like fantasy is the same thing. So when you're grounding things in the you know, even when you're researching for speculative fiction, you have to find that operative ground in real life. And then when you're doing things in real life, you can similarly just have to find that additional grounding while still creating something
Yeah.
unique.
One thing I do a lot is I think about, I'd ask myself the question of like, how can I make it work? Not just if it works, but how can I make it work? And so even in a real world setting, there are things you can do to kind of make it fit the story, even if it originally, maybe the real world doesn't have the specific hotel that I want. I can make one up that fits as if it were real. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I like to do.
I mean, that's like one of those things. Is like if you think about the Marvel universe, it literally takes place in the real world, but yet superheroes and space wizards.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's a whole lot of just like science. It's like, can we do that? Well, no, but Tony Stark says yes, so now it's happening.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's dive right into world building because we only have about 35 minutes. So there's two ways we can do this, Rachel. So when we do world building together, you have the decision to kind of make the choice yourself when we pull a cue, or you can throw it to chat. So if you're like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I want to hear what the chat wants to say, we can throw it to the chat as well. And so chat, if you guys don't know the rules yet, this is my chance to just explain to you how we all vote together. We count down 3, 2, 1, go, and then you will vote for the cue, and the first to 3 wins. So you can't vote before we say go. You can have your vote queued up. You can like smash enter the second we say go, but don't vote in advance.
And it is not majority wins. It is fastest majority wins. So it is first to 3.
It is first to 3. So I'm gonna bring Deck of Worlds to the stage, not my face. This phase, we're gonna reset the setting. Also, Rachel, because we have the whole plethora of expansions with us, if at any point you're like, I want to draw a card from any of the expansions because I want to build a world ground in that, let us know. Okay.
So I guess we'll start with a region. This is just classic Deck of Worlds. We have a delta, we have a scree, and we have a forest.
Oh, I gotta go with forest.
After that epic bio, you're like, gotta do the forest.
All the tree climbing.
I think one of the reasons why was because like I grew up in a new development subdivision where all the trees were really young. So I think
that would make it tough.
When I read storybooks and I would see kids and trees, I was like, so cool. And I would go out and try and look for a tree. And I'd look at these trees and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would just die because all these branches would break. And I would cause substantial property damage. And then the other trees we had were evergreen trees. And I was like, how does one put one body in this big spiky book?
I used to climb trees as a kid. And then there was one at camp when I was probably around 12 where I climbed the tree and then got down the not fun way, which is to say that I fell and hit a lot of branches on the way down. And I don't think I climbed any more trees after that.
Oh, no. You've been turned off by a bad experience.
Yes. All right. We're going to pull a landmark card next. Do you want to stay with Classic Deck of Worlds or do you want to switch it up somewhere?
Let's stay with the Classic Deck of Worlds for now.
Okay.
All right. I'll give us 2 landmark cards. So we can choose from a garden, a pool, a path, or a mine.
Ooh, maybe let's throw this one out to the chat.
Okay, chat. So we have 4 options for you. We have path, mine, pool, and garden. And don't vote yet because we're going to count you down. So once again, it's path, mine, pool, and garden. And Rachel, why don't you count us down?
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. And also, I'm like thinking of.
Is anything speaking to you yet?
I like the idea of like a pool in a forest because it's like a pool feels a bit man-made. Like it's not necessarily a pond. It's not necessarily a river. It could be organic.
It could be magical.
It could be magical. That's the thing. Like it could be a little bit organic. And I'm going to say, I say organic because I'm looking at the picture and the thing I love about Deck of Worlds is that we have the illustrations to kind of give us a bit of inspiration. But it like has that organic energy, but it feels like someone deliberately put it there.
Yeah.
I think pool is our winner.
Oh, look,
All right.
I influenced. I influenced.
So what are we thinking about this pool? So is it magic? Is it human made?
Well, magic can be human made. Magic
true.
pool can be human. A wizard could have made the pool.
Yep. It could be man made, or it could be fairy made, or something else.
Oh, fairy made. Okay, would it be like, and why would fairies make a pool in the middle of the
That's a great question.
Is it just like this is the pool where they get like the stuff for Alice in Wonderland that just shrinks you or makes you big?
That could
like,
be. It could be an enchanted pool where it like ensnares travelers and then they can't leave.
Yeah, well, it's we have some folks who are making some suggestions. Path through a forest.
Oh,
to
a healing pool.
A healing pool. Lots of options coming in here, and of course we're being. What is the kid billiards table?
Yeah, no explanation for a billiards table in the forest. Just
right?
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of love that though. I love when someone takes like a hard left in their decision making, and this is how the thing I always find so enjoyable about hanging out with chat and also just showing the deck to folks is how you can have one idea and so many people can create different stories from it.
Oh, a portal. Yeah, that's very Magician's Nephew. Very Narnia.
Is that what happened? There was like I actually never finished Magician's Nephew. I'm gonna fully.
Oh yeah. There's the wood between the worlds, and it has all these pools in it that go to different worlds.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. I'm into that. Although I would also be terrified because if I'm going into the pool, would I not think I'm drowning as I'm being sucked further down? Okay. All right. Next up, next card. Do you want to stay on the classic deck, or do you want to add something a little bit different, especially since we're talking about a fantasy world?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some fantasy specific stuff.
Okay, so Worlds of Myth and Magic. We're proving that we're opening this. I can't. Hard card. All right.
And we are going to our namesake card.
Water is often a medium of transition in fiction. That's true.
So, our namesake card gives us of prophets, of hearts, halfling, or without end. So is it the forest without end, the pool without end, the forest of prophets, the pool of prophets, the halfling forest, the halfling pool, or the forest of hearts or the pool of hearts?
Oh, these are good options. Let's see. I really like the without end, but I'm not sure if it makes more sense to do the forest or the pool.
Both are very evocative. Like a pool that can never run out of water there's something there.
Oh, I was thinking about the drowning. It keeps going down.
It's a portal.
Like if it's a spring-fed pool and it's just constantly replenishing, I think that's a great name for the pool.
Okay, so it's gonna be pool without end.
It's the pool without end. It's like it's a portal to another world. Just put on these cement shoes and just keep sinking. You'll get there eventually.
You just gotta hold your breath a really long time.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though if it's like the idea where like they say paradise is on the other side, but you have to survive it?
Oh.
I would also feel like that is completely the shit that Faye would come up with too.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. Oh, Everdeep.
Lol,
I like
jokes.
Everdeep.
Yeah, it's like, look at all the humans we killed because we promised them paradise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those tricky Faye,
Yeah. All right, next up, origin card. Are we gonna stick with the fairy expansion?
Yeah, let's do that for now.
Okay.
Well, because then we could just create all that good like fantasy juice.
Yeah.
Okay, we have founded by a rogue monarch, site of a notorious ambush, shaped by a battle between powerful entities. Come on, focus.
Hold it slightly further back.
Or the origin of a famous bardic tradition.
Ooh, there's some good
We-
ones there too.
So we have rogue monarch, bardic tradition, site of a notorious ambush, and shaped by a battle between powerful entities.
I really like the vibes of the ambush in the forest because that gives very Robin Hood vibes of
Oh.
like, the people laying in wait in the forest to ambush people who are going through. What do you think?
Especially if a lot of people are going through looking for this pool.
Right. Maybe it's a pool that has kind of a storied tradition and people are headed there to make offerings or something, and there's these bandits in the forest ready to ambush them.
Oh, that's funny. Like, so you're thinking that they're like opportunists. So they're like, hey, there's so much money to be made because all these people just keep showing up. I was thinking possibly like that because it's so popular, these people are ambushing them because they're trying to protect the pool because they're thinking like, we don't want bad people to come. So we got to make sure that only like pure of heart people can pass through. But if they're there for nefarious reasons, I will ambush them. So
kind of like a test. Yeah, like a test of their intentions.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I love some of the ideas that Chad is sharing. So if you guys have like you guys are pitching your ideas, would certainly love to hear them. I know we kind of moved in this direction too, Rachel, but do you find that of the Deck of Worlds expansions that you use, do you find that you lean more towards fantasy, or do you have like another favorite expansion that you love bringing into play?
It really depends on the story, because there's another project that I've been working on just as a world building project at first, and now it's sort of developing into a novel that's based in kind of a more tundra winter setting. And so I pull from like the wintry, I don't remember what the expansion was called, but the winter one with the ice and tundra. That has been really fascinating to see how that influences the story.
Right. Is that a call to yank out that expansion next?
We might have to do that. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I didn't expect you to bring up that one of all the Frost and Fable.
I know. It's very different from our pool and forest, but it might actually bring some more interesting ideas to it.
It's like forest and pool conjures a very specific imagery, but it changes very quickly when you freeze it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
this is our
attribute card. We have only accessible by a vertical climb or drop. Known for treacherous footing. Good source of furs. And known for frost worship.
Ooh. I think this one we maybe should throw out to the chat, because there's some really good directions you could take this.
Yes.
Okay, so the options again are frost worship we'll go with. Furs. Treacherous footing. And vertical climb.
Okay, Rachel, count us down.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I love the idea of frost worship because maybe they don't actually get winter, but they've like.
Oh yeah, could be like a mythical thing.
Yeah,
it's like we've heard stories of the gods. We've heard stories of snow. They are both equally foreign to us.
Wouldn't it be also like crazy if the pool on the other side is actually frost, but because it's frozen, you actually can almost never succeed because you arrive on the other side and you immediately are like stuck.
Oh no, you're stuck. Let me in.
Yeah. Okay. What did we end up getting? The votes came in really fast.
Yeah.
I think it was like the vertical footing was actually a big one that came in. Vertical, frost, treacherous footing, vertical. I think vertical got it.
I think vertical.
Okay. So is this applying to the forest or the pool then?
I think
and is it a climb or a drop?
Yeah. I think it would be interesting if the pool was like in a deep ravine, and then you either had to like take a leap of faith and jump to get to it, like jump into the pool, like cliff diving basically, or try climbing down the cliffs.
Oh, okay.
Because that brings in like thinking of as a writer, if I had a character that's trying to get to the pool, that would be a really cool story point moment where like if this character had, a traumatic experience earlier in the story, and this is where they have to make a decision. Do I really want this? Do I really want to make this jump? Like that, thinking as a storyteller, that would be a cool moment for the character to like leap into the pool.
Yeah. I also could think like when you're talking about they had a traumatic moment, like they could have had a traumatic moment where they either experienced someone falling to their death, or maybe they didn't make like a snap decision. They're like, oh, I should have jumped into the water to help my friend, and
Right.
they didn't drown because I was afraid of water or I was afraid of something. And they kind of have to make this like very urgent moment. Because maybe there's a chance if they're being ambushed, maybe they're like finally to be like, are you gonna jump? Like, are you gonna jump? Or
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I like that.
Interesting. All right. So I think we have to pull our
one more card.
One more card. Wait, now we have like three. We have 2 expansions and the main deck. Where would you want to pull this from, Rachel?
Let's go back to the fantasy one.
Go back to fantasy. Okay.
So many decks. Okay.
We have it all set up kind of in this like corner side table. So if we're like if Eric's looking off screen, it's him trying to find the right expansion.
So we have people are losing the ability to speak, or vile monsters have invaded a once sacred space.
Oh.
They're so different.
They bring up very different conflicts. So it really depends on like if I'm writing this story and those are great ideas. If I want to do more of a exciting monster chase type of thing, or if I want to do something a little more nuanced with the losing the ability to speak. I think those are both great options.
Well, the decision is yours.
I know. I'm thinking through it. Yeah.
Heavy is the hand who wields the pen.
I think I want to go with monsters, because that's something then like there's so much you could do with the forest, and if we've already talked about people being ambushed in this forest, like there's so many things you could do if you have monsters and additional bandits or something like that. Then there's like multiple threats to the protagonist if they're coming through on this pilgrimage or something. I think that would be really a good complication.
Yeah, and there also could be one of those things too where like, just because we picked one doesn't mean that the idea of losing voices couldn't be used, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe monsters aren't like big scary monsters. Maybe there's something like a little bit more embedded, a little bit more dark, a little bit more otherworldly, and they could be like seeping out and actually like stealing voices from people.
Like Ursula in The Little Mermaid, like that's that kind of like different threats than just the threat of danger.
Yeah, or maybe they're like taking the voices of people who have been like passed away or mimicking voices, so they're leading people astray.
Yeah.
Like
it
the
could be like
of the woods.
A forest full of echoes, and then you don't know which way is the correct way to go to get to the pool.
Yeah, exactly. I think I saw something earlier too. No, actually it was something else. It was I think it was Fantrack talking about stealing the endless pool for their Pathfinder campaign. Yes, go ahead, guys, please take all these ideas. These, we come up with so many cool prompts here, and they don't, a lot of them we always tend to take a photo and archive them. But if you guys ever end up using any of our prompts in your story ideas, like let us know. We want to see what you end up creating. Oh yeah, Chorus of Echo saying we're okay with a corner tuck like suggestion. Why not?
I think that's a great idea.
It's true. We can't quite corner tuck Advent the same way. I think
we're gonna make it work.
Yeah, Eric has invented his own version of the corner tuck. We'll call it the corner overlay. There we go.
Perfect.
Yes,
I love it.
Or I was gonna call it like edging, where we just like stick it on the side.
Very specific word.
Yes, I know. I don't know. I was thinking about it in the terms of like DIY work, because I've been working on houses recently. How dare you? Someone asked David, asking, when mixing main deck and expansions, how do you all decide which card to pull from which place? Rachel, do you have any insights on this?
I don't know if I have a very good answer, because for me it's just how I feel. What are the vibes I want? But like it depends. So like a lot of them are very specific. So like the last one we pulled from fantasy, those are very specific. Like that's kind of like a like where the story is going. That's what's currently happening in the story. So like that's kind of the main emphasis. Whereas the other cards that we pulled kind of flavor it a little bit more. Whereas the last one is like more deeply entrenched in the story itself. I don't know if that really answers the question, but I like, that's how I think about it. Is if I want to pull flavors from other expansions, I'll usually do that in the naming, in like some of the backstory stuff. But the like main setting, or the complications and things that are happening at currently, that's where I'll pull from the main genre that I'm hoping to stick with.
And I think it's really always good for us to hear, and that's why I want to ask you specifically, is asking from people who are using our decks for their storytelling, because everyone has such a different way. I think another author once said, they said, I'm a chaos gremlin, so I just actually mixed everything together into one giant monster deck, so it doesn't matter which genre I'm pulling from at any given point. It's just like, main deck, horror deck, doesn't matter. I'm just experiencing the moment.
And I also
I will sometimes mix a few, but I don't mix all of them, because I don't want any random thing to pop up.
I know I'm very engineer brained in that if I mix things up, I would want to resort it back out afterwards and put them all in their rightful place. So I think I would just drive my own self crazy. And so I'm kind of similar to you, where if I know what genre or space I want to occupy, or geographical location, or what I want to do, then I'll draw that next kind of thing. Yeah,
I will say this is something we've never actually done, but it might be an interesting exercise. This is like galaxy brain stuff.
No, I want to try that now. That's
okay. Let's do it. We actually have about 10 minutes, so we can do what we call bonus time, bonus play.
Yeah.
We built this world so efficiently, but maybe more importantly, before we draw the advent card, is the advent card going to be another advent that's happening in this particular setting? Or is it happening on like a new setting that is independent of this? Or is it something that's connected to this?
I would say it would be really cool, since this is kind of like, the way I've been thinking of it at least, is kind of like the destination of our character. I'd like to know where our character's starting the story. So I think that would be the advent for the place they're leaving. Maybe it's the reason they're leaving. I don't know.
Right. Okay, totally into it. Let's pull an advent card. Are we pulling an advent card from the main deck or one of our expansions?
Oh, what do we think? Let's do main deck and see what we come up with.
Okay.
An artist is about to reveal a controversial masterpiece, or the omens of an ancient prophecy are coming true.
Oh, that's got to be it. I think. I think the omens. It's like, that would be, if the society is very superstitious, that could be a reason for the main character to be like, okay, I'm out of here.
Right. Right. Mass exodus moment.
Yeah.
So are we just going full in reverse with like attributes next? Is that the
Oh.
I hadn't thought that far ahead.
This is what happens when we're discovering things new. We're not even sure what we're gonna do next.
Yeah, maybe we should. Yeah, like what maybe that relates to the omens. Like, what would the omens be? They're like thinking about a name or something like that. Then we could work our way back to what the setting is.
Yeah, maybe the attributes have to do with the omen and not like even the world or setting that we're putting it in. You know what? This reminds me of when Eric first made me watch Fast and Furious, we actually started from Hobbs and Shaw, which is like number 10 or whatever, and we actually just watched the series backwards. It was a very interesting experience doing that. So I feel like this is what we're literally about to engage in right now. So, okay, attribute card. Go ahead.
We have values unity, distinctive footwear, known for ruins, and known for regional legume.
Oh, let's throw this one out to the chat.
Okay.
So we're going with legume, unity, footwear, and ruins.
Count us down, Rachel.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
It's interesting because as I'm seeing those attributes, since we're thinking about like a people and the place, I feel like I don't necessarily even need to know the region to be able to like associate this to something or someone. It's like if they even if the people had distinctive footwear, that could mean something. I think ruins just
ruins.
Oh
ran
yeah,
away.
ruins it is. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a time with prophecy, something very old, very ancient.
Yeah, maybe they discovered a new section to the ruins in this location, and there was a prophecy that was kind of revealed there.
Also, I would just like to register that Peter is going to be so jealous that we invented a new thing while he wasn't here.
We're just going rogue here, people.
Right? Do you know what is so funny? So the last time he ran a speed world building live stream, we weren't around. So like Eric and I were on our honeymoon and he was doing flying solo. And I didn't watch the whole live stream. However, I was reviewing it because I wanted to see what things that he was doing that were cool and interesting that I could bring to this live stream. And he says on the live stream, Maroki and Eric are on their honeymoon, and Maroki normally is the one who keeps me in line and keeps everything flowing, but she isn't here, so I can go off the rails. And I was like, Peter! I was like, Peter! I knew what you did there.
And he almost got away with it, too.
Yeah, and lo and behold, I am doing it this time.
Yep.
I can party as much
Payback.
as Peter. Yes, payback. I got to invent new things with our chat. Thank you, chat, for sharing that idea as well. I think it was Chorus of Echoes that shared it. Kudos. I love this idea. I love what we're doing with it. So now that I'm trying to think, if we're going backwards, what's next?
Origin would be next.
Origin is next. Okay, wait, are we staying with the main deck?
I don't see why not. It's working for us. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. Don't ruin a good thing. Don't ruin a good thing.
We have origin of an artistic masterpiece, founded by a child, origin of an unsolved riddle, or shaped by a big collision or explosion.
Oh, I like both the collision or explosion and the riddle. I like both of those. That's tough.
Is that corner tuckable?
It is corner tuckable.
We could take both.
Let's take both. I think they're both really helpful for the the explosion would cause ruins, and then the riddle could be involved with the prophecy. So like I think they're both very, very connected.
All right.
Wait, how did you do it like that?
Because something's gonna go on top.
Oh, Eric's thinking ahead. He's like, I'm gonna like, why are we seeing the distinctive footwear? And Eric's like, no, I'm gonna lay it on top and block off everything else. I feel like for anyone who's a focus sleeve user, and for those of you who don't know what the focus sleeves are, we use them for Lore Master's deck, so that they hide like 3 of the 4 prompts, just so that you could more clearly visualize, because the lore clusters can get so big. This is like the antithesis of the focus sleeves right now, where it's like, we're going to show you the thing we're about to hide, but right now you see it all, just so you can really ADHD your brain into a position. Okay. All right. So next up then is...
I might jump for next. The next is supposed to be namesake, and we don't technically have anything to name yet.
Could name the omen.
We could name the omen. We could name the explosion.
We could name the ruins. Yeah.
We could name the riddle.
All right. Are we going to go for it?
There's an opportunity.
We're going to do it.
So many opportunities.
So we have rogue, of children, rifts, and where mushrooms grow.
Honestly,
I think any of them could work. Yeah.
The omen of children is actually really dark.
It's very creepy.
It's very creepy. Same with the runes of children. Like, are the runes of like, I don't know, like child sacrifice, or like they're like,
or it's the orphanage we were talking about earlier.
Oh God. I don't know. What say you?
I also love the idea of the mushrooms, because mushrooms growing over ruins is such a cool visual.
It is a really cool visual. I did think about the mushrooms too. I know mushrooms are also like really
And, like,
trending. Whimsy.
That would also be interesting if that wasn't the original name, but that's what everybody knows it as now because it's all ruins and nobody remembers what the original name was, you know? So I think let's do mushrooms.
Okay, so
All
mushrooms
right.
for the runes. It actually is cool too because if like the omen comes out, it would almost be one of those. And if like it's got started by Riddle, there's so much misdirection that when the omen comes out and they're finally saying this, everyone's like, "What does this refer to? Where are we supposed to go? What do you mean?" Like, and you know, like, and they might be like, "Oh my god, we just learned the true name of this thing that we always thought was just like, you know, runes of mushrooms, which we always thought was a cute thing, and it really is really dangerous."
It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm supposed to be looking for the giant, tall palace that glitters over the entire landscape and is super impressive? I'm not seeing anything that fits that description.
It could be explosive mushrooms, even.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Or what if oh my god! What if the mushrooms like? What if the omen was like at some point the mushrooms would mature and they're gonna explode and the spores are like dangerous?
Yeah, that would be a good reason for the character to leave the area.
Right? Like major disease or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like it's gonna bring upon the end. Like they're it's like, you know how like they always say like mushrooms kind of grow on the dead. Or they grow like they grow on living things or things that have died. So it's like these things that have died, they're kind of it's like coming around. They're gonna bring
mushrooms
death on,
on the dead civilization.
right? And it's kind of like here to kind of take the next civilization with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is actually getting a lot darker than I thought. I was like, here we were like cool with things. But now it's like it started like kind of light and a little bit whimsical and a little bit trickstery. And even Robin Hood, like now they have to leave this like horrific thing that's about to happen, and they're actually trying to find paradise and safety.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really a great story seed right there.
Okay. All right. Well, we have our landmarks that are coming up. So we're actually going to finally like set the geographical location.
Yeah.
Of this.
So
let's find out where this is.
Yes.
I'll draw 2 cards again. We've got pasture, coast, town, and palace.
Speaking of palace. You cut the tops off.
Well,
now chat will never see.
Yeah, I think it would be really interesting if the ruins themselves were like in a pasture, and that's where, you know, maybe it's on the outskirts of some civilization and they're discovered there, and then that would cause a lot of people would be kind of in an uproar, I'm sure.
I kind of like the idea of a pasture too, because like most of the time we think of ruins in the middle of the city, kind of like as an area of historical significance.
Yeah.
But a pasture kind of alludes to the fact that maybe this is like a farming land, like a farming area, farming town. The people there have been living relatively peacefully. They don't think too much about the ruins that just kind of exist there.
Yeah, until this omen is discovered, and I think that would be kind of the catalyst for change here.
Yeah, and maybe like they never thought, maybe they actually even thought like they were maybe they are like an area that's more remote and rural than some of the major city stuff, and maybe something is going on in the major city and they thought that they were safe from it, like to deal with this, but they realized that they actually have this major connection to like the, you know, the major cities and the major metropolitan areas.
Yeah
Okay, last card.
Going all the way back to the beginning.
From the end to the beginning. This has a lot of like flashback energy.
We have valley, mountains, and river.
Ooh. Let's ask the chat, since they're the ones who kicked this whole experiment off.
Yeah, okay.
Gotta bring it home.
All right, so we have valley,
mountain, and rivers.
And this is where our character is starting, I would say. So yeah.
One final countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm not even. Well, I like there was like one throw in from River Valley. Last of Us. That went in another direction.
I think River is our winner.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was.
And that would make sense why there's a lush green pasture if there's lots of water. So I like that. And of course, that would also be a good reason why there's so many mushrooms.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so what did we have? A river that in the river is a pasture known for these runes where the mushrooms grow. It is shaped by a collision or an explosion, origin of an unsolved riddle, and then the omen is that
the omens of an ancient prophecy are coming true.
Yeah.
And everyone's being driven out as a result.
Yeah, so that's where our character is starting from. And then in the way I would think of it as a storyteller, as a writer, is their destination is that first section that we did, the forest and the pool. Like, that's the destination for the climax of the story. Like, there's a reason for them to get to that pool to escape all the stuff that's happening in their homeland or whatever. They're starting at that river pasture.
Right. Now, the question I have for you is, as we wrap up here with the last few minutes that we have, how far are these two destinations from each other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That depends on the kind of story we're telling. If we're telling like a fantasy epic, then it could be very far. Like, it could be a whole quest they have to go on to get to this or maybe the forest is so big that it takes forever to find the pool, Or if we're telling a more cozy story or a more like smaller scale story, then maybe they're closer together and it's more about the internal journey of the character and like the reason they have to get to the pool.
Yeah. And the reason why I also asked this is, so one of the things I want to get permission from you, Rachel, is, so the next round of speed world building is going to be with the chat. The chat's going to completely take over, and they're going to be our en masse. I wanted to give them the opportunity, should you allow it, to do one of two things. We can either speed world build something completely brand new, wipe the slate clean. This never happened. Or they could possibly build on what you've started and either fill in the world in between or build side worlds and start world building like a saga.
Yeah, either way, I would be totally excited to see what they come up with if they wanted to expand this world. But yeah, it's up to them. I leave it to them.
We did say it's all up to the chat this time. So chat, do you want to continue building this world or do you want to start fresh? So I think our vote would be saga or fresh.
Saga or fresh.
Saga or fresh.
Well, and then I won't vote 3, 2, 1 go on this, because I would love to hear everyone's opinions as you pitch us why we should either try something new or continue building together. I know I, for one, am like kind of excited the idea of building a bunch of micro settings in between, and we could even still decide whether that's pretty close to each other, like whether they're just heading from one small town to the next. They're just, because, towns and cities are literally within a couple hours of each other. So you could be very condensed geographically, but still have a really robust adventure. Or whether they're like, extending and going on like a really long, truly treacherous or like lengthy journey that maybe even spans years or something. Looks like everyone's really into the
chat. I think the chat spoke very clearly and confidently.
Awesome.
I also like this one pitch here that Saga Fresh is a sick name for a deodorant.
Yes. For all your questing needs.
You know what? I think Deck of Worlds would actually be amazing for a marketing group. Like, if people are trying to come up with like new homes to sell or new products, I think you would actually come up with some crazy cool names to sell something. Like Saga
absolutely.
Well, Rachel, it was so great having you with us. Before I let you go, I want to ask you one question that I am going to ask all of our other guests as well. I know we have Dead Aussie Gamer joining us later, and I'm going to throw this question to chat as well. When was a time where you've had to create like a super last minute world, whether it was for a game or something fun you were doing, or whether it was something that was career based or had like a true impact on your work?
Oh, last minute. That's a good one. Well, here's an example. My brother and I one time, well, actually we did this a few times. We both write, and we decided we wanted to race each other to 50,000 words. So we each wrote a novel. In the first time we did it, it took us 6 days. So, and then we did it 3 times by the last time we got it down to 4 days.
Oh
So
my
like that required some very quick thinking in terms of world building and the characters. And I mean, they were terrible stories. I will never show anybody, but like that was an example where we had to create like our world building had to happen like spur of the moment.
Oh my
So
God.
that's probably the fastest I've ever created anything.
I'm also trying to think about how little sleep you might have gotten during this period.
Oh yeah, we didn't sleep at all.
We've heard about the 24-hour film writing and playwriting competitions. Have you ever heard about the 72-hour, the 96-hour writing competition?
Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty-
totally not novel improv. Yeah, that's totally what it was. Yep.
Oh my God, I love it so much. And Rachel, anything else that is coming up that you would like to share with folks, and how may they find you?
Yeah, you can find me. I have a website, rachelkimberlyhastings.com, and there's links to everywhere I lurk online. I'm here on YouTube at Storyteller Treehouse, as well as on Instagram. But yeah, I'm gearing up for actually kind of a slightly different thing. I'm going to be traveling full time for the next couple of months, so I'll be sharing some stuff on my YouTube channel about that and how I approach travel as a storyteller. So yeah, that's kind of my new exciting adventure.
I love that. And that's kind of like exploring your world at large as well.
Yes.
Like literally
Getting as many ideas for stories as I can.
like building your own world in your own way.
Yep.
Could you possibly share any of the travel destinations you are thinking about right now?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking a van. I'm going to be traveling in a van up to Canada. So I'll be going to Banff and Jasper National Parks, and who knows beyond that. So we'll see where I end up.
That's amazing. Well, Rachel, it was so wonderful having you with us. Yes, I like Rachel saying, come see us. If you ever come to Toronto, please give us a ping.
Nice.
There's no mountain in Toronto. We famously are on what we call the Shield. So it's very flat and full of slate and shale. But if you want to look at a lot of like deep layers of fossilized stone, there is that. So, and we have a very tall tower in Toronto. So
I will definitely let you know.
Yes, please do. Rachel, it was so wonderful having you join us, and best of luck with all your adventures.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Didn't mean to cut her off there. That's what happens. It's like you're always saying bye to people. Do you guys, so you have like a phone call when you're like, bye, 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 bye. And then you hear the person say bye as you hung up, and you're like, oh no.
No, you leave the chat. No, you leave the chat first.
I always leave the chat. It is true. I always hear people. I don't know, in like the lockdown era, the amount of calls I've been on where everyone's saying bye and I leave the chat and I could hear their voices cut off like harshly as I do. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I had to get to the next meeting. That's like, I don't know. It's like an interesting thing, new social construct that I think we have adapted to in the world of technology. Okay, chat, are you ready to build up this saga with us? I like how and then I wait awkwardly for 20 minutes. As everyone's, there's a 20-minute, for those of you who don't do a lot of live streaming, there's like a 20-second delay between us talking and when you guys actually see the stuff. So I realize when I ask these questions that they are sometimes a little bit, if I'm expecting an answer very quickly, it's very limited. But we're here to speed world build with you. And we actually did a lot. We actually managed to build 2 micro settings in 30 minutes. Now I'm like, oh, should I have gone back to Peter's way and gone worse and said, instead of 25 minutes, I should have done 15 minutes of world building. We can be like Rachel, where we have to do like world building, but as fast as possible. Okay. All right. So I guess the next thing we need to figure out is destination number 2, or like
we do, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think like I've kind of slid things to the side. We don't really know how far this river is from this forest. We did have some suggestions for maybe the river feeding the forest pool.
I did think about that.
But I've just kind of like cleared. We can figure that out later. I kind of done it this way just so we have some more space to work in the middle of the map.
But could just, I guess we could just start
building and see where we want to put things.
Yeah. Okay. We can we can start it, and then as we build the world or the micro setting, we can decide where it's going to place. And also, I'm beginning to sort of understand Peter's rationale for like pulling in other decks because I'm starting to be like, well, what about the adventurers? What about the particular characters? I actually even wanted to make a pitch that maybe we could pull something from the adventure prompts expansion as well, because I'm like, we could find something that prompts them in the adventure in the woods or how they leave or something like that.
So we could, if we're gonna do that, I would suggest we start with we build a setting and then maybe we throw the adventure into it.
Okay, we can do that. I hope everyone's okay with that. This is my one moment where I'm like, I'm going to make a call and say that we should pull the adventure prompts. And I think it's because it fitted so well into sort of the idea of the forest and the idea that there was going to be a place where a lot of ambushes happen. I was like, I don't know, I feel like the idea of an adventure prompt happening in there makes a lot of sense. And again, for those of you who are just joining us, we're the Story Engine. My name is Miroki. And this is
Eric.
And we are doing some speed world building together. And right now, it is with you, chat. You are our special guest. We were just joined by Rachel Kimberly Hastings, and we will soon be joined by Michael, Dead Aussie Gamer, tuning in from Australia to do some world building with us over a short period of time. But for the next 35 minutes, the stage is actually going to be yours. And if you guys are like hearing us throw out all these expansions being like adventure prompts, Arctic, what are all of those? Well, those are the 9 expansions that come with Deck of Worlds. Deck of Worlds being our lovely main deck. We've already opened it up, so I was gonna like pull it on screen and share it again, but at this point the deck is open, so it'll be hard to show. Oh, Barbara tuning from Australia too. I love it. Actually, the one thing about tuning in from Australia, about us doing the live stream a little bit later in the day, is that we actually get our folks from the other side of the planet joining in with us. And I love that. Let us know, Barbara, what time it is for you over there, because I know there's a couple of different time zones in Australia, and I always miss them. I know there's about 2 to 3 hours across the whole country. So do let us know, because I think it is still quite early for you guys over there. But yeah, we have a sale going on our website. If you visit us at storyenginedeck.com, those expansions we talked about, they are 15% off until the end of Monday Eastern time. So the sale will end at the end of Monday night, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. And then we have 10% off Deck of Worlds and any Deck of Worlds bundles as well, and 15% off our Deck of Worlds accessories. And the discount's already it's already set up. So all you have to do is add those items to your cart, and the discount should be calculated for you at checkout. Alrighty. Another Australian too. South Australian. I'm assuming that's what SA means.
I'm guessing that's what SA is.
Okay. So without further ado, I've yapped long enough. Let's pull another region card. Or maybe I should also say, Chad, do you want us to stay with the main deck, or do you want us to pull something from any of our expansions? We have fantasy, sci-fi, horror, cartography, coastlines.
They're all cartography.
All cartography, coastlines, Arctic, desert, and then we have our culture keyholes. Although I don't think culture keyholes we can pull yet.
I'm going to suggest, what if we picked one of our one of the cartography expansions? We've already done one card from Arctic, but if we're Arctic, coastlines, or desert,
okay,
maybe we can go with those 3.
Okay, very quickly, Chad. We're gonna really speed world build here. We have some horror actually. Maybe
I went wrong. Maybe I have to cede to the chat and say horror.
Coastlines and horror. I mean, we have been talking about water a lot. We have the river, and we have the pool. I think the folks are saying horror. Look, that's even like 3 votes without you.
Then we're doing horror.
Horror, guys. All right, it is your show. It really is your show. So thank you. Thank you for chiming in there. Worlds of Blight and Shadow. It's true. Coastlines and horror do have great synergy.
Well, you don't see it as often either.
It's funny because we do there is a lot of like water stuff that is horror, but oftentimes I find it's like around a pool. Like a literal pool, like a swimming pool. Or maybe I'm just thinking about Poltergeist too often. That clearly traumatized me as a kid.
We have city, swamp, and barren or barrens.
All right. Vote in 3, 2, 1, go. Aw, I appreciate it. Blight and Shadow is a good title. We try really hard. We try really hard to come up with cool titles. They make me very happy. Horror of I think the swamp got it instantly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Ricky voted Barons, but sorry, Rick. I think the democracy is reigning in this one. We make some jokes sometimes on our live streams where we'll like start looking at our different prompts, and Peter, Eric, or myself will be like, and for a brief moment, we have taken over democracy and we have decided to pick the prompt. But today, you guys reign. You guys reign the full decisions for our next world that we're going to build. So we have our swamp, and are we going to stick with the horror expansion for the next draw, or are we going to like flip back and forth? Actually, let's make that decision really quickly, guys. Really quickly, let us know. Should we be switching between different expansions and the main deck for this particular draw? Or are we going to just go really into horror, maybe possibly some coastlines for this particular prompt? And that will just speed things up a little bit so we're not voting between different expansions through the entire time that we have together. Let us know. Switch it up. Okay, we have Jimmy saying to switch it up. And how about other folks? I mean, I know we have to switch between coastlines and horror because I think we have at least a few folks. Straight horror will be fun too. It's true. Well, there's like so many opportunities, so many ways we can go with this stuff. I think the landmark. Okay, so someone said landmarks should be the same.
I think I'm okay with that.
Okay, let's do landmarks. That way we actually have our geographical region locked in before we do like, you know, maybe we could have this really horror-esque place, but then the name is around coastlines. Okay.
So we have a labyrinth, a carnival, a mansion, or an arena.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and vote.
So again, yeah, labyrinth, carnival, arena, and mansion.
You're trying to flip it the other way.
My hands only go in one direction.
Oh, the votes are coming.
Oh boy, they're coming fast.
I want a carnival to win. Oh, did Carnival win? I want a carnival to win.
I think Carnival did win.
Yay! I wasn't thinking like deeply about it, but many years ago, probably almost 10 years ago now, I was in Korea. I was in Seoul, and I found out that there is an old abandoned theme park that you can just go visit. So if anyone's in Seoul, I don't know if it's still there, but you can go check it out. And it's literally just like this old carnival kind of place, like this, and like they have like an old like merry-go-round, and then they have like old rides, and it all just kind of coming apart, and everyone just goes and just takes pictures on it and hangs out. It was a really interesting experience to walk around. There's just this like one man who kind of just sits at like the ticket booth. And I think you pay like a really small fee to go in, and I think he just kind of maintains it. So this kind of has that energy to me. But that one, it was like that one was a little less horror-esque, but I was also there during the daytime, so you never know.
So here's the question: is how does this swamp connect to the rest of our world so far?
Oh, it's interesting that it is water-based.
It is a little bit water-based. There is some water pool adjacent geography happening.
So like I wonder if the river is like this thing of life, and then the pool, because it feeds in and it moves, it's clean and clear, but the swamp, the water that gathers in becomes stagnant. And that's why this particular place has like died. So if you have like this river and this land that feeds and everything, and you know, river generally brings life, the swamp kind of brings death because there's bacteria and infestation in there. And like the carnival, like it maybe was alive before, but for some reason the water like got blocked up, and so like things all like died off.
It's like there's something like interrupting the flow from the river to the pool.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to find out. I know some folks actually talked about, I don't know if they said that the namesake card should be coastlines based or not, or an origin or attributes from horror would be cool. And then someone else said something else, but it's okay.
I think this is where we're going to use the coastlines expansion for the namesake.
All right, you have I can see you spinning a card in your hand.
I may have already drawn one.
Okay. This is Eric's attempt to kind of usurp chat.
We have the swamp, or it could be the swamp or the carnival, of sails, of the lost, briny, or at sea's end.
So it could be the Swamp of the Lost.
Oh yeah, of the Lost, briny, at sea's end, and of sails. So that's going to be a vote in 3, 2, 1, go.
And then after we finish that vote, I guess we also need to vote whether we're going to name the swamp or sails. Briny Carnival.
Lost of the Lost.
I think Lost got it, but just?
I don't know.
Oh no, or maybe Briny got it. You guys vote fast.
I know, and my laptop doesn't refresh as quickly as it should.
Is he Lost of the Lost? Briny at sea's end.
I think Lost just got there.
Just edged out. Just edged out.
So are we with the carnival or the swamp is the real question.
Second quick vote. 3, 2, 1, go. Swamp of the Lost or Carnival of the Lost? Carnival of the Lost actually sounds like since we were talking about children earlier. See, I'm really stuck on this children thing.
I do like that, like, of the Lost. It's like from our Kozan's expansion, but it's very horror coded when you put it in a carnival.
It's true, and I think Carnival.
I think Carnival.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like if Purgatory was just a circus with a merry-go-round that never ends. It's like, oh, it's gonna be fun, and then it's like, no, I really want this Ferris wheel to stop.
Actually, I mean, to be fair, since we were talking about how like the pool could be is a portal or possibly could be a portal, who's to say that the swamp isn't actually is grounded in this current plane? That maybe the swamp actually is involved. So let's see, what's Carnival Lost involving kids might be less horrifying than swamp. Oh.
I'm not sure about that.
I know, I'm not sure about that. A place where lost things turn up. That's actually that's more whimsical than I expected. That's actually like a little more heartfelt, a little more like quirky and whimsical than, let's say, Lost Children. Yeah.
I like carnivals are scary places. Like all those clowns, and you can have some very terrifying things in a carnival. Yeah, and like a whole lot of safety violations depending on the nature of the carnival.
Yeah. Well, we also have David saying here, feels very Del Toro, Pinocchio.
Oh God, adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that, especially if it's very Del Toro coded as well, or even what's the name of that other film he made? It was like Nightmare Alley.
Yep, there was one.
Yeah, and there was like the Geek.
Yep.
The Geek Experience. There's also that.
That was not a very pleasant carnival.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're I like how we're all giving ourselves the own heebie-jeebies. So I think the thing is that we have to just draw the next card and figure out what we're doing.
Am I going back to horror, do we think, or are we sticking with more coastlines?
We did get a suggestion to use Origin doing horror if we want to just make it extra horror coded. I mean, also, like, I think someone asked earlier, what like when do you draw from certain expansions and decks? Like, how do you mix things up? Well, this is an opportunity for you to see how it really feels like if you just lean super heavy into one particular expansion or two particular expansions versus just using one flavor as well. I actually remember in one of the last world building live streams, I think we built a world that was pretty innocuous, like very neutral, and then pulled a horror card for just Advent, and it just completely turned the whole thing. It was like, look at this nice world, it is so lovely, oh God, it is horrible now, all things are bad.
We've just ruined it. We had a nice little fantasy world with a cool little pool and a river and a pasture, and now it's just all murk.
Yeah, now it's all murk. So I guess let's just lean into the horror if everyone's okay with that. Let's go for it.
So our origin card, site of an infamous scream. Famous former site for banishing exiles. I think the word banish has come up already in this chat. Site of an unexplained massacre, or founded by a monster. So we have monster, scream, exile, and massacre. We're going to vote on that in 3, 2, 1, go.
And if you guys need a what's the word, a refresher, not a refresher, you guys need like a break from all things horror related and you need something just a little brighter in your life, remember, we are giving a $25 gift card away. If you guys go to our social media, whether it's Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, and check out our prompt where we ask you to describe the events of a sports game, but poorly because you remembered wrong. You get a chance to do that, and I'll give you a little bit of a break from what's going on right here, right now, which is completely different. Unless you guys start telling me horror things because you're misremembering, I don't know, some sort of blood sport game or something, and then that would take another turn for the dark. All right,
So
what one?
I think Founded by a Monster won. So is this our carnival? Is our carnival run by a literal monster? Is it just like a sea beast that is like, I just love amusement parks and I'm going to build one? Or is it like a metaphorical monster, kind of like Pinocchio? So somebody that's running a carnival with the worst hand on the ship ever.
Aren't there also monsters in the forest?
There are vile monsters
Oh my god, are those monsters the monsters that are like in this swamp and they're headed towards the forest?
It could be like, maybe they're getting in through the pool. It's like if the pool is a portal, it's like maybe that's where the veil is thin, so it's just like things springing
maybe the
out.
pool actually goes to the swamp. Or maybe it can go into different places depending. Or maybe the monster's trying to pivot the portal to the swamp. But we're picking monsters and we're picking carnivals. That seems to be the consensus right now.
I think that is where we're headed.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna keep plowing through here. Because if we get this one done, we can actually build a second one. Or no, we're gonna pull an adventure prompt. I do want to get to the adventure prompt.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so does this place have frequent demonic possessions? Illegal trafficking activity? Is it a source of a hallucinogen? Or do they have a massive bat colony? So we have bats, hallucinogens, trafficking, and demonic possessions. So we have 3, 2, 1, go.
I feel like the bat colony just made it cuter. Was that from the horror expansion?
Yeah, that's from the horror expansion.
I like how I think of bat colonies as cute things.
Oh, those mushrooms again.
Oh, what
hallucinogens.
Oh. Yeah, maybe you hallucinate before you die.
We have, I guess that's not really the tuck. It's just the card sits here. If we have all of them.
That being said, since we talked about hallucination,
I think hallucinogens is winning right now.
Wait, and then are we tying that to the swamp? I guess it makes sense.
I think I'm gonna tie it to the swamp. I mean, the carnival can get them from the swamp. Certainly doesn't preclude them being used from. But it does tie in with our mushrooms a little bit. Like you're starting to see pieces, like things are just leaching from the swamp into different parts of the world. So it's like the monsters are getting out and going to the forest, but then the mushrooms are seeping out and going to the ruins.
What if the mushrooms were actually keeping the world clean? Like, so they were seeping out, but the mushrooms actually contained them. So if the mushrooms actually grew, the mushrooms could hold all of it in. And maybe part of the omen was like, you had to either, like, it's like everyone just lived got too complacent. Like they were just like, they stopped learning the name. Oh my God. Like that's where the unsolvable riddle, it's like the riddle was actually supposed to like tell them about what they needed to do to, keep the world clean and keep the world pure, but everyone just kind of forgot about it. And they're just like, look at this cute mushroom thing. But they actually had to do something, and now it's hit like critical mass. They can't contain the swamp anymore because no one's done anything about it because they've just forgotten. And now it's all going to explode and actually like ruin everything. So maybe this is the swamp I'm beginning to feel like is not even like necessarily part of the adventure that the party goes through. It is like the enemy site. Mm-hmm. It's like in order for them to reach the final, maybe they almost like reach the final destination, like they find the pool first, And then they said, actually, for you to like get in the pool, or for this pool, this thing that might actually save the world, you have to figure out a way to like clear the swamp first, right? Either by like unblocking the flow or whatever. Okay. Many ideas. And if you guys have ideas too, I know obviously right now we have the like voice, like literal.
We have the power.
The power, the literal.
But really the power is yours.
Yeah, so if you guys pitch your stories as well, or where the swamp sits in the adventure, you can throw them in the chat and we'll show them and we can read them out as well. In the meantime, like Eric and I are just brainstorming live in front of you while we're discussing this. So, but in the meantime, I think we have to pull our advent card.
Am I still going horror for this, do we think, or are we going back to coastlines for one more?
Oh, yeah, because we haven't really touched the water side a little bit. Maybe we should... okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Good call, Eric. Good call.
Okay, let's go. We have a staple aquatic crop is dying out, or an island has begun to rise out of the sea nearby.
Oh.
Swamp Island. We could have we have aquatic crop, or we have island. We're gonna vote on that in 3, 2, 1, go.
They actually are way less horror-esque than I think.
A staple aquatic crop dying out could definitely lean horror. And actually, I there's something very Lovecraftian about an island just appearing out of nowhere, especially in a swamp. Like a swamp island reads very different than like an ocean swamp in the middle of the sea. But like an aquatic crop dying out, it's like you could have like a plague, a fungus. You cop have a blight of some kind.
That being said, everyone wants the island.
Okay, so we have I see somebody
Swamp Atlantis.
I'm just gonna shorten that to Swamplantis.
Swamplantis. Okay. I mean, the swamp could be really big too, I guess, because the swamp, like I would often think of swamps as smaller contained spaces, just because that's usually how water gets stagnant. But if this is kind of like the purgatory of this world, the swamp could be enormous. It could actually be like a huge body of water, but it just got completely plugged up, has no flow. And it's like, that's why it's causing this kind of cataclysm that's like affecting all the other spaces in the world.
Yeah, it's like swamps can be very big, and it's like sometimes they're actually thriving with life. They're not actually signs of death, but it's this one is kind of stuck, and now it's not, now the island is. I also just what I do like about the island is that we've kind of had all this stuff about like portals and pools, and it's like this is another thing that is like something merging in from another plane. It's like this land is not constant. It is changing. It is mutable, and it's always kind of like hard to keep down.
Well, we have Keith here saying that the swamp island might not rise, but could be a bunch of floaty bits coming together. So like they could be like discarded, like worlds that have died, places that have fallen, and they're kind of like maybe if this portal actually is, I don't know, like malfunctioning, and things are breaking, because they like, you know how a lot of times they talk in things like teleportation, or in like when people travel from one space to another, there's a lot of chances of failure where you could break it, like rip apart. It could be that it's like all the ones that have failed and died, they got ripped apart and they ended up in the swamp, and they're kind of slowly drifting to the surface and coming together. And that's where you get the Carnival of the Lost idea too, because they could be like the ghosts and the people who have died, like violent endings, and now they're just lost and they're like on a merry-go-round that just kind of
that you never get off of.
Yeah. Okay. That is horrible.
I was thinking the same thing. Just
why I'll never teleport.
It's like we're driving everywhere. Don't trust anything. It's like even planes are too dangerous. That's like teleporting, sort of.
I would not want to think about a plane as teleporting under any given circumstances. No. My body is still sitting in a chair, moving through the air. I am flying in a tin can. That is horrifying in its own way. I don't know if I should, since we were talking about science earlier and talking about planets. So I remember one time a science teacher telling me, if you actually shrunk a full airplane, well, basically we were like looking at toy airplanes, and he was talking about how toy airplanes are not accurate, structurally accurate. And he's like, if you took a real airplane and shrunk it down to a toy size, the plane's walls would be like thinner than a sheet of aluminum foil. So we're basically flying aluminum foil little like tin things.
Good to know.
Air. Yeah, good to know. Very safe.
And there are people who go to space like that.
Yes, they do. They go to space in little tin cans. How horrifying. We're now in a space horror thing now. Okay. Good work, team. We created a pretty destitute place. I think I don't know if Rachel's still around in the chat or not, but I feel like we need to probably send her a picture of this afterwards and being like, and now look where we end up going with your story. But I think we have a little bit of time left to, I think about 15 minutes or so to pull an adventure prompts card.
We do. Okay.
If we were smart, we would have opened all these expansions in advance.
So our adventure is Exile Express. An exile needs an urgent letter delivered to somewhere in their homeland. So where do we want to... we could actually decide where we want to put this. We could put it in any one of the 3 settings, really.
Right. Okay. So what's the adventure again? Say it again.
An exile needs an urgent letter delivered to someone in their homeland.
And so would the homeland be the original place, like this whole story where everything first started? Would it be the swamp out of all places? I would be really curious how you managed to get exiled out of the swamp. Or is it like someone in the swamp and their homeland is like a piece of the world that had emerged out?
So yeah, I think our options are river, swamp, and forest for this. So
river, swamp, and forest. So why don't you guys vote very quickly? 3, 2, 1, and vote for river, swamp, or forest.
We do a couple of suggestions for carnival, it seems, which would be swamp.
Carnival is like the homeland, or
I think the exile is at the carnival.
The exile's at the carnival. Okay. Oh, that being said, being said, oh wow, lots of different. Oh no, swamp just got it.
Swamp got it.
Swamp just got it. Okay.
And so the exile is what do you think? The exile is located at the carnival, and is their homeland the river, the forest? Then, like, where are they trying to get a message to?
Maybe they're trying to get it back to the river as the homeland because they might have discovered, like, they're now trapped in this carnival, and they want to kind of tell their, like, everyone who's leaving, right? Like they left quickly. These guys failed. They might even be dead. They might be a ghost. And they are trying to get a letter back saying, don't come, like don't come this way. And maybe even like there could be even something that like tricks people into heading towards the swamp as opposed to heading towards like the forest, right?
We have some good, we have one suggestion for a secret 4th place. We do have an exiled fairy getting a message back to the pool, which would it's like the fairies being like, oh no, we've flown too close to one of us fell into the pool.
I was gonna say flew too close to the sun. The swamp is not the sun.
Yeah,
swamp is not a nice place to go. However, they could also realize that the swamp is starting to like destroy the pool. Like it's like or maybe the swamp used to be another pool. Like it could have been like another wonderful place that somehow things are going wrong at. So like they need to kind of send a message back to be like, don't do what's happening here. Yeah.
Well, okay. So now we have a swamp. Are we building one more location in 10 minutes or are we?
Oh, we would have to do it so fast.
We would have to do it very fast.
It could be the secret 4th place that people are talking about.
That's mostly why I suggest it.
Okay, chat, do you think we can build a world in 10 minutes? We can do it. Ricky's immediately like, we can do it. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to do it as quick as we can. Michael believes in us, and we're about to bring Michael on. So Michael's going to be the one who's holding everyone accountable for the next 10 minutes. Speed. Okay. So we can put it there. We might switch around. We don't know actually where the fourth location is, but maybe we're going to maybe what we'll do is we're going to make the call which cards to draw from which expansions or from the main deck. And then you guys we're going to vote like rapid fire. We're going to do speed. This is going to be the speediest speed world building that we've ever speeded. All right. This is from main deck, guys.
So I am going to give us a choice of cliffs, jungle, or islands. In 3, 2, 1, go.
That's a very different vibe than the swamp.
I mean, the island we have a rising island, so we could be building.
But this is a secret fourth place.
Yes.
I'm ready to leave the swamp, you guys. Ready to leave the swamp.
Cliffs. We have 2 jungle, 1 for cliff.
You guys
I think Cliff got it.
Cliff got it? Okay.
I think maybe maybe not.
I was like, no, I thought Cliffs were at 2. It was so diverse. The voting.
I think Cliff did get it.
Cliff did get it?
Yep.
Okay.
It is a secret third place. So different. Okay. In the name of speed, I might just keep drawing main deck. We have the statue, restaurant, or glade. In 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. We do have a nice suggestion here that the cliffs could be this could be the cliffs next to the pool that people are jumping off.
I also saw that the swamp could become the pool. So the fae could, if a fairy was sending, like an exiled fae was sending something back, could also say like, we can save this place, kind of thing. Like we shouldn't just destroy it. Like it's not just about like bombing a place down or tearing a place down. That actually it's not about ruining the things. It's that there's actually an ecological system that we can cure together. Oh, I guess you figured out is it statue?
It is statue.
Okay, so there's statue in the cliffs. All right.
Which is an interesting place for a statue, really.
No, I mean, if you think about it, like when we've gone traveling before, like we've seen like holy figures embedded into cliffs before.
It's true.
So the statue could be a holy figure. I want to grab from the Arctic expansion since we have it open already.
We do.
To give it a name. Oh, okay. Yes. Emma's saying it is the main deck's birthday after all.
I mean, they were all part of the same Kickstarter campaign.
They are part of the same Kickstarter campaign. What are the expansions and the many siblings or cousins? Arms? Their limbs? Oh my god, are the expansions limbs of the main deck?
I wasn't ready to think about that today.
We're trying to actually like anthropomorphize Deck of Worlds.
So we have of no trees, of cracks, of lichen, and meltwater. And we're going to go 3, 2, 1, go.
And then we can decide whether it's going to tie to the cliffs or the statue in the interest of time. Although we've done this currently in like 3 minutes. So we're doing this really fast, guys.
We have, so far, it seems like we've got meltwater. I'm calling that 2 for meltwater. I think that's 3 for melt. I'm calling meltwater.
Yeah, Rick, I'm assuming that mouthwater is meltwater. But meltwater could be mouthwater if you drank it.
It could be. I do like the idea of meltwater cliffs. It's like a waterfall almost implied. It's just like very damp cliffs, very difficult to climb. Like if you're like very slick.
Mostly ice.
Yeah.
And as a side thing, if we want to talk about world building, and things that are grounded in real life, because I know we had that question right at the beginning about grounding things in real life. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Meltwater that comes out of the statue.
I think we can run with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up. And I made the call for Arctic. I can let you decide the next thing.
I'll keep going with Arctic for one more.
Okay. Yeah, because we can find the origin of the namesake.
I need a bigger side table eventually.
So Eric and I just moved, which is why, folks who have tuned in on our live streams before are like, what is with this backdrop? It is very blank and white and very unlike our last backdrop. It's because we moved and we can't quite figure out our setup yet. And so right now you get this lovely white wall. What we're hoping is maybe we can do something similar to Peter, where we can show off the decks behind us as well. So the experimentation continues.
So we have linked to an ancient heroic saga, originally a seasonal shelter, the resting place of a famous explorer, or uncovered by an avalanche. So we have avalanche, explorer, shelter, and saga. In 3, 2, 1, go.
That's from Arctic.
Right? It is from Arctic.
I was so caught and was just thinking about it for a second. Then I kind of went silent there. Kind of liked resting place, but I think explorer might have gotten it.
Whew. So much voting. Holy cow.
I love how fast you guys vote. It brings me joy.
It does.
We can't count as fast as you guys vote in the speed. I'm pretty sure it's shelter.
I think it's explorer.
No, sorry, explorer. It is explorer. It started as shelter. Wow, Keith. Every dead body on Mount Everest was once a very ambitious person. To be fair, actually, no, I'm not going to get into that conversation. I'm not going to get into that conversation about oxygen and tourism and all that fun stuff. Just because I mean, it would make sense why there's a statue there. It's like you build a statue to your famous explorer, or they could be entirely unrelated. What if the statue actually is just the frozen explorer? Oh, that's dark. It would also work though. And then if it's melting, that becomes a real kind of grim discovery. Yeah, they find out that no, but maybe he comes back to life. Maybe. Okay. It could be just like a fairy explorer that's actually preserved. Oh my god. Okay. Since we were all talking about like the whole flowing water and how the swamp ends up it's maybe the statue was like an explorer, ode to explorer died, or the explorer sacrificed themselves to be in the cliff where they help keep the water flowing through the cliffs so that they keep entering the pool and keep the water flowing. But if he melts, the sacrifice ends, and the world will end. It will become another swampland as a result. No, I like it. Okay. We also have a suggestion here for unreliable narrators, and it's not a hero, it's a villain. Oh, plot twist. So maybe it will root. Yeah. So maybe you have to keep him frozen. Because he will keep the world flowing. So it's like a villain, but when the villain was frozen up, it actually then also created the space where the melt water would flow. Okay. So many ideas, and Michael's about to join us soon anyways. So maybe we'll continue building on this, or Michael might wipe the slate clean and start all over again. But we'll see. Okay. Attribute card. Going back to the main deck, we have known for street food, seasonal flooding, carnivorous plants, or religiously diverse. So, religion, carnivorous plants, flooding, and street food. In 3, 2, 1, go. Maybe I'm hungry, but I was like, street food, that sounds delicious. It does sound really good right now. I am hungry. Don't world build when hungry. All you will think about is the food that you want to eat there. I think plants got it, though. Nope. Floods? Plants. I think plants got it. There's usually one or two folks on the chat who's super good at keeping us on track. But today, I think all of you are happy to vote, which is good. We want that because we have 2 minutes left to build this world. So I think we're just gonna. I'm just gonna roll right into it. Emma's saying the mushrooms are hungry. A world record is about to be broken, or a scientific breakthrough is causing controversy. So we have controversy and world record. In 3, 2, 1, go. I like how best at distracting Cookie Monster. I mean, we've clearly been derailed by the mushrooms. I thought Cookie Monster Steve might have been joking about the cookies, saying distracting us with cookies. I could go for a cookie too. So we have controversy. Controversy was just world just slid right through. Was that the one around scientific discovery?
Yes.
Oh, it's interesting that we're suddenly talking about science too, because we've been so fantasy leading this entire time. Okay.
Okay.
This is our secret fourth place. Whoever would send the chat before that the exile was sending to the secret fourth place, you can start pitching. Let us know. Is this the fourth place you wanted to see, or was it something else? But while you're deciding that, I want to make an introduction to our next guest who's tuning in from Australia, Dead Aussie Gamer, aka Michael Kasavan. And Michael, please let me know if I pronounced your last name right. Michael is a professional game master from Perth, Western Australia. He works with adults and kids, hosting a large number of public and private RPGs and tabletop games all year round. While he does follow the rules of the game, at the end of the day, he is very much in favor of bending the rules for narrative, drama, and adventure, so long as it enhances the player's experience. And Michael, I did specifically chose that part of your bio to share because of the fact Deck of Worlds is all about changing the rules all the time.
I was going to say, we're actually very strict about rules here.
Yeah, not just breaking up rules and coming up with new things on the fly every single time. So welcome, Michael. Hello. I'm going to bring you up like this for now while we could all get a chance to share the screen in a larger way. How's it going?
Hi. No, it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, for like 7 a.m. But no, guys, happy birthday. This is so amazing. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Yes, my name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. As for the pronunciation of my last name, I always tell people this. It's like the letter K and the number 7. It's just the easiest way to go about it. So it's K7 is the way that you pronounce it. But all call me Dag. Everyone does. But yeah, no, I'm honestly I'm really, really excited to be here. I've been a huge fan of the story engine for a very, very long time. It's one of my actual secret tools that I've kept for a very, very long time. I'm sure you guys have been told this all the time. Like narrative and storytelling is such a quintessential part of culture, for different places, different people. And for me, as someone who makes my living off storytelling and stuff like that, there's a finite amount of, brain space that you can use to do things. And when you're playing in a space where you bring people into your narrative, it's not just you telling a story, but you bringing people in to grow and evolve and change and shift. You have to be on your toes and you have to be able to sort of move around very, very quickly. And I cannot tell you enough how the story engine is just a wonderful tool for any great DM to be able to pivot on a dime with some incredibly robust, very, very detailed, and very, very inspiring ideas that not only you catch on to, but also your players as well. So again, very, very excited to be here. And how are you guys?
Wow, that was like the most heartfelt, like warm and lovely thing for Story Engine and Deck of Worlds. I know you and Peter got a chance to meet on another panel about world building before, and he told me that he had such a great time building with you that he's like, we got to just do this again. And I love what you say about how we do run out, because I think sometimes we like to say, whether we're writers or whether we're game masters, sometimes we like to think, well, we do have ideas. We have endless ideas. Some people say, I always have so many ideas that I don't know what to do with them, so I don't need tools to help me out. But one thing I always say is, like, we all have ideas, but they might even be endless, but they are still confined within our own particular bias, perspectives, and experiences of the world. And if nothing else, even vocabulary. Like I know, even when I use Deck of Worlds, sometimes I'm like, I've never even heard that word before. Or maybe it's not a word I'm using frequently in my own everyday to-day use. And when you introduce, when you bring in like a deck that literally has hundreds of cards that creates billions and billions of concepts, it will help just kind of tweak our minds a bit and just like stimulate us into thinking in something in a different direction. And that's why I think that, these are such great tools for everyone to use, no matter how large you think your repertoire is. So
no, could not agree more. And you say something very interesting about like our scope of like the biome that we have when we're creating. you know, any good creator will tell you this is writing only stops when you close your mind off to new ideas, you know. And as long as you keep looking and searching and stuff like that, you'll find so many different things. And, you know, much like how, you know, going and traveling the world can, you know, give you that sort of breadth of experience with new ideas and stuff like that. Honestly, you like literally, as in the name, the Deck of Worlds is a entire world's worth of traveling that you can do from your very own home with this entire kit. Places, landscapes, cultures, ideas, and things. All like there's just so much jammed into here. You could not. I mean, honestly, as a DM who's been playing 10 to 15 games a week, you could use this to build worlds every single day for like the entire duration of your career having played role-playing games, and you still would not make the amount of worlds that are available from just the ideas in this one box. You know, it's nuts, you know.
I'm fond of the joke. If you make every single world, you get your money back.
Yeah, I think Peter did the math for just main Deck of Worlds, like not including our expansions, and I think it's like 89 quadrillion. Some absurd
it's like
number.
4 quadrillion.
So many zeros. And then once you add the expansions and the fact that Deck of Worlds talks the story engine deck, talks the lore masters deck, you can go so over the top as well. I like Emma saying here, loving your hat. Loving your hat.
Thank you. Yes, it's not an actual Akubra, but it is proper and official kangaroo leather. So these are, you know, whenever somebody needs to like check my Australian credentials, like that's what I basically do. I tell them like, yeah, you know, kangaroo hat. That's the way I did it.
I was gonna say we don't see too much kangaroo leather here in Canada.
No, I don't think no. Okay, like a kangaroo steak. They do import some of those. I've yet to try one, but kangaroo leather. I guess if it has like tough skin, you can make it. And you know, kangaroos are notoriously, you know, known for being very strong, very mean creatures. So.
I mean, big reds, yeah, maybe, but you know, we in WA we got like the small greys, which are actually, you know, pretty docile and stuff like that. Like people joke about how Aussies like ride kangaroos to work and stuff like that. I've actually got kangaroos. Like I'm not in like the country, right? I'm not in the wild. I'm in the suburbs, and we have like herds of kangaroos and stuff like that, or troop of kangaroos just down the road from us, and they come into my lawn and stuff like that. Yeah, they're super peaceful. Yeah.
You know what? I liked how you checked my bias there right in this moment where it's like, this is the world building element. Here's my limited preconceived notion of what a kangaroo is. And you're like, no. Let me talk to you about the cute kangaroos that exist and are really docile. They're not all that. I so appreciate you sharing that. And then, yeah, I also liked the earlier Cookie Monster saying, blaming you for the recent order you're going to find all the shelf space for. So really appreciate you sharing the good word. And Cookie Monster, assuming you're in the States, we do have free shipping past a certain price point. I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head. I think
it's Canada.
Canada's?
Maybe not. Oh, sorry, somebody else. We have a place in BC.
You have a place in BC that sells kangaroo hats. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, well, yes. Okay. Well, that being said, if you're buying from US, Canada, EU, UK, we do offer free shipping past a certain price in your currency. They're different per region. That's why it's hard for me to come up with the numbers right away. You're in BC, so we do have free shipping in Canada. So hopefully, if you know, if you're depending on how much you're buying, and if you're alluding to wanting to buy all the things to have no shelf space, I'm pretty sure you'll meet the free shipping threshold. And you know, this weekend's probably the best time to do it because, again, for those of you who are just joining us, we are the Story Engine. We're celebrating Deck of Worlds' 5th anniversary. And for our 5th anniversary, we are offering 10% off Deck of Worlds and any Deck of Worlds related bundles off our website, and 15% off our expansions for Deck of Worlds. There's 9 of them, and for any of our Deck of Worlds accessory. And we're being joined by Dead Aussie Gamer from Australia to do some speed world building with us. And Michael, we've loved that you've been with us since the start of the live stream. So we love all the contributions that you've had. So I have the big question for you. Are we going to continue building this world? Are we going to strike it and start all over again?
No, I'm not going to strike it at the end of the stream. What kind of monster do you think I am? No, we're gonna build on this.
The kind of monster who runs a carnival in an evil swamp.
Also true. Also true. And honestly, horror is one of my favorite genres as well. So I was right on board with the the horror carnival, the Fae pool. Like there's just so many cool things.
And I will say, I'm not going to destroy this world in spirit, but I am going to strike it in actual cards because I am out of real estate on this playmat. So.
Shift everything northbound, north. We're like we are like the gods that are moving the little plates around the world, messing things up.
The tectonic movements of the gods.
Tectonic movements of the gods. And now I think there's a few directions we could go with this. We can build another micro setting and decide where it fits into this huge saga that we're continuing to build. Or we can also start pulling things like our culture keyholes expansion, our lore fragments expansions, or even another adventure prompts if we want to like flesh out any of the existing micro settings that we have now.
Ooh, I like the idea of an adventure prompt because having a world, I mean, obviously we had, we talked about building the world and building the setting and building the narrative. I love the idea of what do we do with my players? Where do I put them into this space? And having adventure prompts, I think, is going to be the best way to kind of kick that into gear and say, what are we doing here?
Okay. Here we go. So again, I think you're already familiar with the rules. Because you're the one who's controlling the playing field now. You can always make any and all decisions that you want for any of the prompts you draw and for any of the micro settings you want to build. However, at any point, you are also welcome to throw to the chat and ask them to help you make the decision as well.
So I'm gonna give us a choice of a couple of adventure prompts. So we have Expedited Expedition. An explorer plans to set a new record for quickly completing a challenging route. They are assembling an expedition. We have Trail to Trial. A legendary outlaw has been captured. Local law enforcement needs a team to escort them to trial before their gang closes in. And we have Under the Table. A chef needs an ingredient to perfect a recipe. Unfortunately, the ingredient is illegal and hard to source.
Yeah, okay, so my fans know which one I would choose, but I feel like in the spirit of this being the Deck of Worlds birthday, we are going to give this one to the audience and let them choose the premise of the adventure to expand on.
So which one would you choose?
Which one would I choose?
Wait. Hold that thought so that you don't influence. We'll set the chat to vote shortly, but then you can tell us as they're voting so that we can find out what your opinion is and it's independent of their opinion. So Eric, can you read the prompts out again?
We have Trial, Expedition, and Chef.
And why don't you count us down, Michael?
Okay. 3, 2, 1, vote.
Okay, now you can tell us.
So for those of you who have been following my channel for a little while, would know I'm a very, very big fantasy culinary creator. I have actually done a lot of cooking of meals that have been fantasy inspired. I have troll eye soup. I have dragon roast curry pies and stuff like that. And I also ran a series of like death battle styled role playing games called Hell's Kitchen, which no, not Hell's Kitchen. Dragon Kitchen, which was based off, the Iron Chef kind of things, where D&D characters would hunt giant monsters and then have to hunt them in a particular fashion to preserve whatever it is they were harvesting for their meals, cook the meal, and then present it in front of like these fantasy celebrity guest judges and stuff. So yeah, the chef one was definitely my it was definitely one of the big ones, and
it won the vote as well. So
they understand. Well, Michael, please tell me you've watched Dungeon Meshi.
Yes, I love Dungeon Meshi. Honestly, so I was doing this long before Dungeon Meshi, but when Dungeon Meshi came out, it started really making me think about it rather than just fantasy into cooking. How could cooking get into fantasy? Because I loved there was one scene. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I will give a spoiler alert on it. Where they got like this, basically this holy water jam kind of type thing, sorbet, and then they swung it around and used it as a mace because ghosts go through walls, so they would go through the glass, and you wouldn't waste your holy water. You would just use it over and over again. I was like, that's so brilliant. Like, yeah, it's filled with tons of really great ideas. So if you haven't watched Dungeon Meshi, go watch Dungeon Meshi.
There's also this other one called Restaurant to Another World that we like watching when we want very low stakes, just feel good, because I don't know if you've seen that one as well, but it's about like a fellow, he just has a little cafe in Japan, in like just like in Tokyo in Japan. But for some reason there's like there's a door that folks from like this fantasy world that just like open and enter, and they'll feed him things like omelet or ice cream or just like shrimp toast, and they'll be like, how did you get shrimp so fresh in the middle of like a landlocked area? Because they're not used to like speed of transportation yet,
or refrigeration.
Or refrigeration. And they go back in their fantasy world and they're literally trying to just like use their magic to make a refrigeration system so they can continue to have ice cream.
I absolutely love those animes. There's so many of them. Like that one's probably one of the best ones, I feel, because I love how intricate they get into like potato, because everyone hates potato because it's just the most readily available ingredient, but because of all the things you can do with it, because it is quite a versatile ingredient, they just keep getting wowed by this, like, noble showing up and saying, how dare you serve me potato, and then them going, oh my god.
Yeah. And I don't know if Peter ever told you, so like as a side hustle that I have, I actually am also a wine I also do wine media, so I write about wine, I critique wine, but I also co-host a podcast called Tasting Together. So food and drink is actually something I spend a lot of time doing by night, where I interview chefs, I do a lot of food travel and taste and stuff like that. So
have you ever done like any sommelier?
So I'm not a certified sommelier. That's specifically for folks who want the certification to serve in a restaurant. So like that's not a particular certification that I'm looking for, but I do a lot of writing and reviewing. And I do a lot, like I've been very fortunate. Like I've been sent to Greece to go visit wineries and like taste, and I've been sent to Cedar Lakes in the States. So that's kind of what I do.
If ever you're down in Australia, I'm actually on the West Coast, which all the way pretty much halfway down West Australia and all the way south is our wine country. Like literally gourmet wine tastings and stuff like that, and just everything. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, I mean, just saying.
Australia is so long overdue for me. I know we're completely derailed. We're like, let's talk. Beginning of the end.
That's pretty much what
Rachel here is saying we should need a Dead Aussie Gamer Story Engine restaurant pop-up experience.
Maybe it's time to. So I guess, like, where does this quest belong? Where does this quest fit into this world we've been creating?
Okay. All right.
So, okay. So the premise, when I read it, it has three elements to it. First of all, is the notion of this chef, right? Because his identity is going to be a very, very big part of it. Is he a fancy hoity-toity gourmet chef? Is he a street food vendor? Is he someone who's trying to recreate a meal that he ate from his mother, which he can't quite remember how it works? Their identity is part one. Part two is that this ingredient needs to be difficult to acquire. Something, either the environment or the ingredient itself, needs to be hard to come by. And lastly is the legality of it. Why is this thing illegal? What makes it so difficult to get? Is that part of it? Why was it banned, or why was it restricted? So I think for this particular adventure, there's a lot of angles you can go with and a lot of twists and turns this story can take. I think I would like to see this take place in sort of the pool, the Fey pool kind of area. I feel like there's a lot of very, very interesting angles to go from that one. Because I think with the statue is its own adventure. And I think with the carnival, finding food at a carnival doesn't really have that kind of romanticism of sourcing your own ingredients that I think the pool has. I mean, the river and the mushrooms could potentially work as well, but I'm a sucker for Fae,
we have to be true to who we are, especially when it comes to food.
I just had this really brutal moment. I'm like, maybe the ingredient is the fae.
Oh no.
I mean, yeah.
That's why it's super hella illegal.
Oh
like-
yeah, I mean maybe. I mean, I know this is gonna sound awful, but I have a game right now where our group is dealing with a noble tooth fairy kind of situation, and I was playing around with the idea of them being invited to a tooth fairy banquet, which is basically a absolutely horrifying body horror macabre thing of basically everything horrifyingly dental, but also made into food.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, like this is the like red, like I don't know, this is cavity cake.
Yeah. Plaque pudding, anyone?
Right? I was just about like, I don't know. There's another author and that we speak to regularly, Jordan Shively, and they famously have some D&D dice with teeth inside, and they like all they do is horror based, you know, like all sorts of writing and creation, and including having D&D dice that is teeth. And I remember the entire time I was also thinking, like, how do they ensure that they weight it all correctly? Because teeth are all different sizes, and you can't really control the teeth that go into a dice. So you have to find a way. It's like, how do you make this one slightly more dense, or this one? Anyways, I got too deep into the science of that kind of measurement.
Yeah. No, that yeah, fair.
Yeah. Okay. So it's happening in there. We haven't decided what the illegal ingredient is.
Let's say that the illegal ingredient for this particular thing, let's say that there is a endangered fish of some kind in the actual pool itself. Let's make this a highly restricted ingredient because of its rarity. Now, let's say that there are some certain properties that this pool has because of its various magics and enchantments due to the fairy presence that have created this perfect environment for this very rare fish. More importantly, the fish a long time ago were basically fish to near extinction, and so they had to put a ban on it because it was ruining the magic of the pool. It was dwindling it. And so if the last of the fish are removed from the pool, so too is the magic from the pool as well. Right. So the Fae are also the ones who are trying to enforce this whole restriction as well. So the Fae are trying to keep people away from this type of fish. So yeah, I think that's the way we could go about that for the beginning of it.
It kind of goes back to, you know, how in the very, very beginning they were talking about how there were, you know, it was an area of ambush. So before we were talking about bandits, but now it could go back to the fact where they're ambushing because they're trying to protect the pool and prevent getting to the pool.
Yeah. And I think the angle you could look at that for as well is that the ambushes are apparently deadly, but not necessarily deadly. You know what I mean? Like, it's given the impression that you'll die if you proceed forward, but in actuality, no one's truly died. Just the rumors persist of, you know, there was a person who was turned into a tree, and if you go to this particular location, there's a tree with a human face in it, but truly they've just like shaped a face in a tree and then spread the rumor, you know.
Or a statue on a cliff that looks like a person might have been frozen there.
Exactly, you know, exactly. And I think having the Fae build the narrative here is kind of a cool way to go about that.
It's like, oh my god, I barely got away with my life. They chased me so far. I'm lucky to be talking to you.
Yeah.
So then the question begged then that, like, is this place, because I know originally the original storyline we all seemed to have come towards was that this pool and area was like the paradisical ends place that the adventurers left their river pasture with the mushroom runes to get to. But is it not actually? Because it's more like they are all trying to go there because they're all hearing about this, you know, magical pool. But really, it's like, no, this is just a place that just has a rare fish, okay? Like, you don't need to come here. So it's like misguided.
Yeah. Like it's like there's the rumors that persist that try to increase how valuable this thing is, but in actuality, it's actually quite simple. Which, if we then tie that back to the chef, as we were talking about before, him trying to recreate, say, a dish that their mother created a long time ago before the fish was restricted, you know, maybe this very prevalent chef from the carnival used to have this this magic kind of like fried fish dish that he would serve at the carnival, but he obviously the family stopped doing it, and you know, somebody wants to capture that moment from their childhood, so they hire the heroes to go on this quest to go and try and find this rare fish to try and produce this once in a lifetime meal again.
Okay, so I actually didn't realize that we thought that the chef was necessarily from the carnival. Is that where we're going to, or are we gonna actually decide that the chef comes from somewhere else?
It could. I mean,
well, the chef could come from anywhere, really. I lent on the carnival because I feel like if the heroes kind of their origin place is obviously the mushroom lands and stuff like that, it could also give them an appreciation for food, because obviously mushrooms and legumes and stuff like that are a very, very quintessential foundation of a lot of like things like French cuisine and stuff like that, which could then tie into you know, why they would be invested in this, you know, because, you know, the chance to eat this once in a lifetime meal prepared by a very, very noteworthy chef might actually be very appealing, as much as money would be. The carnival being a location, it's about attraction. You know, carnivals are a draw. They bring in people of all kinds of shapes and sizes, whether you're a poor person or a noble, everyone's drawn into the spectacle. And I love the idea that when we talked about this fish being just a very plain ingredient that was overdone, that it was the carnival that created the spectacle that thus increased the value of this fish, which, you know, unfortunately suffered because of the hype that the carnival drummed up about this rare ingredient, you know, about this special magical fish that came from the fairy pools. You know, you too can have your own fried, you know, fairy flounder, you know, whatever we're gonna call it, you know. And that's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that's also kind of it's weird. It sounds very corporate, you know what I mean? Like this, like the magic of the fairy pool was sucked away by the pursuit of money, and the carnival is a great source of that
and
story.
There was that suggestion from Jimmy that kind of got a little bit dark, that the fish was former heroes, and that would make it quite illegal if the fish actually like had ties to, you know, heroes of the living, and that they kind of live on in this pool in some ways.
Well, that could also be part of it. Like, I mean, even if it was the heroes, but what if it was like the fairy heroes, right? Like the paragons of a particular type of virtue, they would be buried in the land surrounding the pools, and then the fish would obviously spawn in that pool as well. And to the fairies, they view these fish as their ancestors, or as these heroes or these champions. Whether or not they are is one thing, but the perception alone still creates that sense of tension without necessarily saying, oh yeah, no, they're actually the heroes, you know, because they don't have to be. They can just believe them to be, you know.
Right. Okay, so we've sort of decided that the chef is from the carnival. We create this adventure. Where do we go in? We want to dive deeper into the adventure. Do we want to create
make one more setting,
and maybe that will change the pathway of where this adventure is going to be? What do you want to do?
I want to create one more setting, and this setting I want to be a setting of conflict. I want to be a setting where, you know, if our heroes are vying for this whole pool and for the fish and stuff like that, I want a setting that we can create that might create a conflict or a turmoil that our heroes will have to face in their journey to try and acquire this. So yeah, kind of like your travel time location, somewhere that they're going to have to get through in order to get to their point. So I want something nasty. I want something fun. And have we busted out the Blight and Shadows one?
We've bluffed, but that's where the swamp came from. I can tell you that the classic expansions we have not used yet are the desert expansion and the sci-fi expansion. I think we have used all of the other ones.
I want to do the sci-fi one because I am a rule breaker, and as fantasy as we are going to throw a little bit of sci-fi in here.
I like it. Okay, so we are going to start with our region card. we have a city, flows, and we have fallout.
Ooh, love that. Let's give this one to our lovely audience to choose.
So city, flows, and fallout in 3, 2, 1, go.
City, flows, and fallout.
I like the idea of magical fallout.
Well, Pathfinder actually does have an area called the Mana Waste, which is a fallout between like this magic war between a necromancer and this arc wizard, and then this whole area in between became the Mana Wastes, which freaking love that setting. It's one of my favorites.
That's cool. It looks like Flo's got it though.
Flow, go with the flow.
Like it could be a flow of magic. It could be a volcanic flow.
I was thinking of the volcanic flow, but I might have been influenced by the graphics on the card.
That's true.
Which are very bright on the screen as well. So.
Also, it's placed very well on the box. You know, like just where the rocks seem to meet. The art is
yeah, exactly. We just kind of took our little world play mat and decided to insert a volcano right into it.
Yeah. Oh. Shush.
All right. I'm going to drop a landmark now. So we could go really off the rails with a spaceport. We also have city, foundry, and hive.
Oh, please give me hive. I'm going to I'll take that one. I would like there to be a hive, please.
I was kind of into the hive as well.
Okay, I love this.
It could also, like, the idea is like it could be a hive in the small like sense with small insects, or it could be a hive because it is a true enormous hive with some sort of creature. It could even be a hive, like it could be a hive of fae, which you could be like fae from different regions. If there was like a swamp fae, since there's an exiled one that is trying to send messages back. There's the fae that live in the forest, and then in the flows there's like a fae and they live in hives.
I kind of like that idea. I like the idea that the fae have used the whatever's in the hive as a natural defense to their region, to their area. I'm leaning on, okay, what if, okay, go with me on this because my brain's going to just go down a rabbit hole. The flow that comes from here is a flow of a very rare admixture, which is kind of like this chemical compound that is made underground, which flows out and into this area, which in turn have infected / given a swarm of bees a kind of the property of being able to create these various alchemical admixtures within their body. So what happens with that is they create these, very rare honeys and rare waxes and stuff like that based on the regions that they're in. So you can have healing waxes, you can have spell casting waxes, similar to the way that you would use potions and scrolls. But because of the natural fumes that come from this area, it creates a natural barrier of illusions known as the alchemist. And if you go into this region, it's kind of like wild magic. You don't know what's going to happen, but as soon as you start inhaling the alchemist, it just starts to like mess around with you. You might suddenly shrink to the size of an ant. You might suddenly catch fire. You might walk in and see your mother with a chancla, ready to smack you in the head. Whatever bizarre thing happens, what happens in the alchemist is very bizarre. But if you can make your way through it using these special like kind of beehive kind of beekeeper outfits, you can harvest the honey, you can harvest the wax and stuff like that, and eventually get through and into the foresty kind of area as well.
Alchemist is a very good pun.
Thank you. I mean that's what bonds me and Janet together. We are both very big punsters.
Don't look at me significantly like that. Eric and Peter love making puns on the live stream, and I do not pun even a little bit. And just like slapping me with them throughout all our live streams. Usually chat too. Chat is like gets really brilliant with puns as well. So I'm gonna sit here and just shake my head in a corner.
So are we going sci-fi again? Do we want to bring the desert out?
You know what? Let's bring the desert out. Let's throw this out.
Feels like it would just be lonely if we didn't use one card from it in this entire.
I feel like I agree.
So we have the shimmering of
Ooh.
founders, of secret waters, and of gravel.
Ooh, let's go shimmering on that one.
That one I think works.
It's funny because I was looking at the secret waters and I was like, we pulled out the desert card, but it ended up being about water after all.
I mean, fair.
Are the flows shimmering or the hive?
The shimmering flows.
It's like if
Yeah,
it is like the lava, like if things are like glinting off of it.
Like you
Or
know how
even
like
if-
oil has that like rainbow colored like sheen to
Yep.
Yeah.
it.
And now I'll throw an attribute card in there. Oh no, sorry, origin card. I skipped ahead.
Speed world building, where we just skip steps along the way.
Yeah, that's it.
So we
Just
have
52 card pickup.
Oh, Chorus of Echoes, I despise you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we have for that one? We
have
have
site of a famous fossil,
mm,
former forest, originally a quarry, and origin of a school of mathematics.
that is so weird. I mean, the weirdness of me wants to say the School of Mathematics, but I also am a very big sucker for dinosaurs. So I would love if por favor, the site of a famous fossil would be amazing, especially if the hive was like actually built into the fossil. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah. And the fossil could be really, really huge then.
Yeah.
As well. Like you don't even know what used to walk this earth. They were like creatures beyond our wildest imaginations.
And you know what could be cool is if inside the fossil, because the fossil itself could be the exterior with all the hive and stuff growing around the rib cages and stuff, and the forest and the pool could be in the center of the creature's chest cavity, and that's where it is.
Right.
And then then you have to get through the flows to get to like the little oasis in the middle.
Oh, so
Yeah.
oh my god, the whole thing just got so much bigger. And like that's how you're interconnecting the planet. Doesn't even have to be planet, but maybe this particular continent or something.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes, absolutely. 100%. I love this. This is amazing.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to sci-fi. Unless anybody has objections.
Well, anybody.
No.
Michael's driving the bus.
He is.
No. I'm on the sci-fi bus. Let's go.
Okay. Sci-fi bus it is.
Oh, I feel like one of these has already been answered. We have unusual air pollutant,
Okay.
which would fit very well with our alchemist. Source of a valuable industrial material, known for information brokering, and famous for graffiti.
Ooh, all of those are good though. I'm gonna give this one to the audience. I'm gonna let them decide one of these ones. It's been a while since we've tossed it to the chat. So
All right, so it'll be air pollutant or air pollution, industrial material, information brokering, and graffiti is going to be our 4 keywords.
And why don't you count us down?
all right.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. And off we go.
And is anything jumping out at you of those 4?
I definitely like the idea of the graffiti because graffiti is art. Art is expression. Expression implies someone cultural nearby. There's a lot to go off when it comes to graffiti and art. Definitely speaks to me.
The thing is like if the hive is enormous too, you could have like graffitis in each hole because they were large enough to contain like large entities. As well.
Yeah, could you imagine if like because we went with bees, but what if the bees were like sapient and anthropomorphized and they were like all like you know like in Fallout 3, you know how you had the tunnel snakes, so they all had the pompadours, they had the leather jackets and stuff like that, and they just graffiti the rib cage of this giant creature, and then they tell everyone to like buzz off, man, this is our territory.
I actually didn't know this at all, but now I want to engage in Fallout 3 just for this experience.
It's like you could even do something. You probably don't want to play Fallout 3. I'm not sure it's your kind of game.
That's why I don't. Yes, that's why I never play.
It's like almost like the way the hives are constructed is a form of art, where it's like it almost looks like it takes on like an aesthetic shape in the way they construct their hives. That said, I do think industrial material was our winner.
I think industrial material did get
industrial material. Okay. So, I mean, going with the alchemy kind of side of things as well, it could temper, like we already said that there's the wax. We already said that there's the honey and stuff like that. If the bones themselves, having been fossilized, also produce a type of oil as well, some sort of very dense, very combustible material and stuff like that that people can harvest, this could also be a kind of a reason why the hive is very aggressive, because if people are harvesting the foundations for their hives, they'd be really pissed off if anyone comes near them anymore. So that could also be a source of why these these insect creatures are so aggressive. Could be that as well. So I like that. I think that works.
Okay.
Actually, I was trying to think a little bit deeply into the oil and fossil element too, because I'm like, how does this possibly tie into its impact on, let's say, the swamp or any of the other regions with water? Because earlier we were kind of talking about how the swamp could be an area that got plugged up, got damaged, and if you are creating a fossil fuel, there could be a larger environmental impact at play.
Well, there could be potentially a refinery in that region, which is what sort of turned a very lush area into a very swampy, marshy kind of area, just with the drain on the resources and the stuff like that, and the somewhat poisoning of the landscape a little bit could definitely have lent it to that. And you could also like throw in some interesting elements with the mushrooms as to why that area hasn't been corrupted, is because the mushrooms have biologically generated a way to actually process the poison without necessarily, polluting the environment. So that could be another really cool, interesting world building element there.
And now it makes getting through all of this so much more imperative to it's why you have to go through this quest to get to this place, because there's so much toxicity coming through everything.
It's one of those things where, it's interesting as we talk about the world building and talk about connecting things. I suddenly just had this counter thought that was like, don't pull a George Lucas now, where everything in the universe needs to be absolutely connected to each other. Where it's like, somehow in this galaxy where people literally are planets away, that your childhood friend is now your mortal enemy 7 years later. It's like, okay, Muroki, it's okay. Now it doesn't all need to actually be connected to each other as well. So that was my counter thought, just challenging me in that.
Did I mention I'm a huge Marvel fan? So everything has to be connected. Everything has to, there has to be 50 billion different Spider-Mans, and they all need to know each other's,
Oh, they all need to know each other's social security numbers. It makes tax season so complicated.
Oh, exactly.
I remember I didn't get into the Marvel universe until quite late. It was never a particular area of comics that I got into. But when the Guardians of the Galaxy movie was announced, my best friend who never thought they would make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie was like, oh my God. And then he basically, and at that time I had knee surgery, so I was bedridden. So he went, this is the perfect opportunity to get you into Marvel via
because you can't struggle.
Yeah. And he literally handed me like a stack of comics, and he was so detail oriented, because he was like, read Nova 1, 2, then Guardians 1, then go back to Nova 3. Then even the middle of one of the books, he put a bookmark that says, stop here, go read this other book, then come back. And I kind of learned at the end of all of this, at the end of this stack of books, that all things sort of led back to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men.
Yeah, all roads lead that way.
Yeah,
I also say this, you have a very, very good friend. I want to point that out. Just I want to shout that out. Like, I wish I had that kind of friend. But yeah, no, absolutely. And the thing briefly touching on the Marvel method, should we say, tying everything back doesn't always, as you say, doesn't always have to be the case. For me, I think that's one of the big differences between world building as an author and world building as a dungeon master. Because when you world build as an author, you want to fill out the space. You don't want to make the place feel too clustered, too claustrophobic, and too cramped. And if you connect everything together, it does feel that way. Your world gets smaller the more coincidences that seem to happen surrounding your plot and your narrative. With role-playing games, it's a little bit different because your entire story does center around people who you don't have control over. You know, it may be a, wow, what are the odds that the merchant that liked us in episode 1 from all the way over here is suddenly right in front of us now? It's very unlikely, but you're going to die if I don't do that right now. You know, that's kind of, you know, you do end up with that mindset. So I will say there's a benefit to doing it. And then there is obviously, you know, it always strikes you as, what is the purpose of your world? Why are we here? Why are we building this? And why are we connecting all this stuff? So for me, in this particular instance, for this stuff, is my mindset comes from that adventure tile. You know, how do I write this adventure? Right now, that's where the world is serving. So right now, the pool has served its location as my ultimate location where I'm trying to get my players. The flows have now become my obstacle. This is now where my players are going to find the hardest areas to traverse and get through in order to reach their objectives. Their homeland, you know, the rivers and the mushroom areas and stuff like that. This is where they are from. This is their norm. This is their status quo. And then the carnival is where that status quo is shaken up, where they're now given the quest and they get to go out and do these other things. Now, there can be obviously space between those spaces. There can be other quests. There can be other adventures and stuff like that. But connecting a story and connecting a setting are two separate things. And as a writer, it's important to know which the difference between them, because who says that it won't take them a year to get from their hometown to the flows, for example? You know, who says they won't have to cross an ocean? You know, you need to kind of look at, as a writer and as a DM, what it is you're trying to build there. So, you know, yeah, it's a.
Yeah, and actually the one thing I didn't mention and I wanted to mention at the beginning and forgot, was I so appreciate you bringing in this DM's perspective as well, because I think we have been so writer focused in this particular live stream. And I was really hoping you would be able to bring that other side of expertise, and for you to so eloquently sort of point out why it's sometimes necessary to loop in to really kind of like close out your universe and make it a little bit more tight and contained when it comes to role playing. And then also like how to purposefully decide things as a writer for a DM, and whether things should be interconnected or not is super important. So I really appreciate you bringing all that. Now, it's so funny because we've been having so much fun, and I knew we were going to end our live stream around 8 p.m. Eastern time. I was like, we've got Michael to 8, but then I was like, wait a minute, technically the world building ends at 7:45. So we're actually going overtime, but we're going to finish off this Advent because I think it is I think it's necessary. We're going to go overtime because I think that's just what is important.
What we do.
Because that's what we do. Going overtime is what we do. Okay. Advent.
So I've gone back to the desert. So we have a mysterious monolith has appeared out of the wilderness, or out in the wilderness. Or traders have stopped supplying an area and no one knows why.
I definitely am leaning on the traders. The traders have not have stopped supplying things to this area and no one knows why. I think that, because another good DM perspective is your world should ask more questions than it answers for your players. So if my players get to this area and there are no traders, there's like a couple of abandoned tents, there's a turned over wagon, and there's no one to explain what the hell is going on. That for me is gold. That is exactly the kind of thing I want to have for my games. I want my players to investigate. I want them to touch, to play, to pull, to tug on the strings of everything. And this is definitely a great reason to encourage them to do so.
It would also be a great reason to encourage why, if let's say the traders did import challenging ingredients or questionable ingredients and just vanished, it would incentivize the chef to have to travel on their own to procure the certain ingredients, aka our magic fish.
Absolutely. I think this could also be a great explanation to the origins of the alchemist as well. So what if the alchemist wasn't something that happened until something went wrong with the industrial harvesting of that oil from the bones? The alchemist could be relatively new, and the traders could have disappeared as part of it. So the properties of this mist may still be very unknown and unexplored. And when our players arriving there for the first time could be pioneering that exploration.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, we've created this crazy world together, a whole saga with 5 micro settings. I think we sort of had decided that the forest and the pool was the destination point, this thing of sort of paradise or things where magic lies, and it could possibly even be diminishing because we're losing this fish now. The origin of the hero's adventures is in this pasture where we have the runes of the mushrooms, and there's an omen that's about to come true. So I'll let you sort of decide, Michael, as the one who's taken this all home. The flows, the swamp, the why am I forgetting the cliffs? How do these all sort of fit in the middle of this entire saga?
Okay, so our heroes begin their adventure in a small town in the pastures, surrounded by a river that has so far managed to avoid the call of the industrialization, a nearby city, a carnival, the noises off in the distance, the light being so bright that even during the evening, it takes a while before the sun truly sets over their kingdoms. But our heroes decide that the omen that is there for them, something is calling to them beyond that horizon to go and explore the light and to find themselves a place to go. Few small little micro adventures later, they arrive at this carnival, this big, lush, loud place, something brighter and louder than they've ever experienced. There, an old circus master is slowly dying. He recalls and recounts the times when he first created the carnival, a small and quaint thing with barely but 50 people who would come by, and he would do small carnival games. But the one thing he can't ever shake, one thing he can't remember, is the magic of this one glorious fish that they managed to acquire. They say that it had the power to heal through singing, and they kept it for the longest period of time. But conflicts arose and revenue got up. The fish got old, the fish got sick, and eventually passed away. And since then, it had been outlawed to go and to capture this fish. But if he could hear it sing one more time, if he could be able to enjoy it the way that he remembered, he would forever be grateful. Secretly, he intends to eat the fish and become one with it in hopes that by eating it, it will heal him in its entirety. So heroes need to go and find out where exactly this hidden pool is. And some say that the last pioneer, the last explorer who went and found the secret cove of the Fae, well, he apparently was honored by this large cliff and left the last map to this location hidden somewhere in that area. So the heroes now travel to the cliffside in which they find the statue, and by providing an appropriate offering to the statue, are able to find the pathway towards the fall of the great beast. The mana flows, as they call, is off on the horizon. And after traveling to that area, they were supposed to meet with the explorers and the travelers that are supposed to be there, but they've disappeared. It turns out the only ones that were there are the old mining equipments and old trader tents. But it is discovered that a hive of these very, very violent insects have been trying to keep people away from the mist. After defeating them and managing to get past them, it is all too late that they realize that the hive wasn't trying to harm them, but trying to protect them, trying to keep them away from the mist that claimed the lives of so many. And after entering into the mist, our heroes managed to face their deepest and darkest nightmares before finally making it to the center of this grand forest, an oasis that it lays in the heart of this great beast. There they find the pool and are confronted by the native Fae who reside in this place. They spend time basically fighting off these illusions and hallucinations, and eventually get to the pool where they realize there is only one of these singing fish that remain. Only one. And should it be taken away, the Fae would lose everything. This oasis would no longer exist. Everything around them would succumb to the industrialization they saw back in that carnival city area. If they do this now, they may doom the world forever. And that last moral quandary will be for them to decide the fate of the world between here and their home.
Holy shit! This is not what
I just started listening at a certain point.
I know.
Like, I'm just gonna.
Do you do this professionally for a living?
Just a little bit, yeah. You know, like.
Oh my god, that was so freaking incredible! I love
do
Ricky.
like this comment.
Can you please appear at every campfire ever and just tell stories? I know. I'm like, is there a way to pop Michael in every time we do a live stream and we do a bunch of world building, and then it's like, and then Michael comes and just narrates what the tale is. I can't wait to share this with Rachel if she's not online. That I think she's offered, but I think she needs to see where the story seed that she planted and started at the beginning has blossomed into this wonderful adventure setting that you've helped bring us home to. Well, speaking of what you do professionally, Michael, why don't you tell everyone in our chat and audience where they can find you next, or where they can find you on the regular?
As said, I am a professional dungeon master and role player. I do specialize in Pathfinder, the role-playing game. As of now, I'm just kind of living on my Twitch channel, running games for my Patreons. I did used to do a lot of content creation surrounding how to plays and role-playing and stuff like that. Those will be coming back in time. I'm just kind of taking it easy for the time being and just focusing on my role-playing skills. So 90% of the time, you'll just see me in live plays, doing stuff over on my channel at twitch.tv/deadaussiegamer. But if you want to check out some of my older videos, which include things like how to world build, how to create good narrative constructs and stuff like that, there's a bunch of videos over on my channel on YouTube at Dead Aussie Gamer, as well as all of my old library stuff on Dead Aussie Gamer Live, which is, you know, all my games and stuff. So yeah, you can go check me out there and yeah, come hang out, have fun. I'm very audience participation orientated. I love meeting new people and I love hanging out, and obviously on occasion jumping over onto other people's streams and being a menace. That's kind of
we love if that's being a menace.
I was gonna say be a bigger menace.
Yeah, be a bigger menace. I think I would be really excited to bring you back on a future stream where you can get a chance to build with Peter as well, because I think between all four of us, we could just like rock the house down. I know if this is one, this is a low-key tease to our chat and audience, but there's been some rumblings about like trying to do like the longest live stream or like the craziest world building live stream ever, where we actually use like every single deck that we have at our disposal to just do something ginormous together. And I feel like if you want to kind of jump into the ball pen with like the rest of us, that could be a really fun one to get into.
I think that'd be lots of fun. I definitely would be interested in hearing more and seeing if I can come out and have some fun and do some world building. Like I said, the deck of worlds and the story engine have been a huge part of my creative process, and so, you know, like I said, this has been awesome, and getting to do more of it just sounds even more fun.
Yeah, we would love to build more worlds with you, and I'm sure chat would be really into it as well. Maybe we definitely need to do some sort of mashup with food again as well. We actually did do one. So one thing I didn't say is when we did the crowdfunding campaign for Lore Masters deck, we did this bonus thing. So we did our launch, and then we built this huge like a pledge train, and we said if the pledge train hit 1,000 people, we'll do a bonus live stream at 9 p.m. that evening. And they did it. And they decided to bring, and I kind of said, I will do a 9 p.m. live stream, assuming I can come on with a glass of wine. And Peter said, well, why don't we make a live stream where we just build settings, and you'll have to tell us whether they can grow grapes there, and whether they can make wine there, and what they would make, or whether we can pair wine with the regional cuisine. So we had some like reptilian creature with iridescent skin, and then we had like vineyards that were growing off the side of mountains and waterfalls. And I was trying to decide like what is the tourism around it? What would be the best wine to pair with this iridescent reptile creature? Totally into that. And actually, I wanted to bring up this one too. In one of the previous world building live streams, when they were talking about cooking, since you were talking about cooking with fantasy creatures, at one point they were talking about like possibly cooking with dragons. And they're like,
Mhm.
how do you cook a dragon? Because Peter was like, well, dragons naturally are a little bit fire resistant. And I think it was Brent Lambert who was the guest. He said, well, maybe it's just treated like sushi. Maybe dragon is just treated like sushi because
So-
you can't cook it.
So so very interestingly, I the very first episode of Dragon Kitchen was cooking blue, green, and red dragon. So to answer the simple question of like how do you cook a dragon if it is fire resistant, the scales of a dragon are fire resistant. The meat, however, doesn't necessarily have to be. Though it distributes, though actually it has a very interesting property which does help it with heat, and that is dragon meat distributes heat evenly. So even if you pan fry it on a cast iron skillet, the entire meat roast is actually going to cook evenly across it, even though the source is coming from the bottom because of the nature of the fibrous, heat resistant flesh. So if you want to actually cook a very, very good red dragon, 3 methods: slow cooking or sous vide, are both very, very prompt. There is also poêlier, which is where you basically butter baste it and you cook it off the residual heat of the butter as it slowly cooks over the top. So you get more of like a salmon kind of basically slightly raw in the middle, very, very hard, crispy on one side, but then obviously that nice fatty, buttery kind of flow over the top of it. That is how I would cook red dragon.
God. I love that. I love the amount of detail that you provided. And thank you to Rachel behind the scenes as well. Other Rachel, who's been sharing some resources as well, whether you're solo world building, want to do some solo RPG, or do collaborative world building like we did with Michael today. We have some great blogs on how you can just like try out these methodologies yourself. So thank you, because we love our blogs. They are such, and it's actually where such a great place for resources. And actually, since you're still here, Mike, you can join us in the unveiling. So it was the blogs where we kind of rediscovered the new cartographers PDF that we're about to launch and do. Eric, why don't you quickly again share with everyone what our new resource is?
So yeah, the Cartographer's Notebook is it's just a small little PDF with 4 designed pages. And for me, what I like about them is it's kind of, they can help you kind of like, one of them can give you like a template for laying out a deck of worlds prompt, but you can also fill in your responses or what you come up with from the prompt right in that gap. So you can lay the cards right on top and then have all your notes right underneath it. And what I like about these little pages is they're all kind of like little pieces of parchment. So for me, it's just like a really fun way to like kind of like build your map, take your notes, and kind of do it in a way that kind of sparks your memory with just sparks your imagination with a little bit of like, I just found these notes buried in a library covered in dust with parchment that's just crumbling a little bit. But it's just like a fun little note-taking tool to help you keep your worlds organized. It's a PDF. You can print out as many of these as you want. They're very printer friendly. You probably shouldn't use actual ancient parchment. If you have that much of a supply of it, please let us know where you got it. But it's just like a fun little tool to keep your world organized.
Yeah, so we are releasing it on Monday officially, but today, if you have been on the live stream, we're going to share with you the, I guess, hidden link to the store if that is something you actually want to get before everyone else. Eric, I assumed you're going to find the link to share. We're going to get it all for you. I don't know how to use Mac, so bad things are happening as I'm messing with the computer. Hiroki should never be allowed to play with a Mac.
Yeah.
Dropping it. Where are you putting it?
Making sure it works because weird things happened.
Well, because I did bad things. Whoopsie. Okay, we'll put it in both chats. What are you doing?
Yeah.
We're fighting. Okay. Drum roll. Sending it. Okay, so it is $3.99 from our store, and you guys get it before everyone else because you participated in our live stream. And then one final thing, I wish we had your hat, Michael, but we have the $25 gift card as well that we are going to do the draw for those of you who have entered. The prompt was we were going to, I lost it.
I will go back.
Yes. I want to state the prompt properly. Explain a local sport. This was using our lore fragments expansion, which was one of the 2 that we didn't use today, but that is totally fine because
it's here in spirit through the
it's here in spirit. Yes. And you have to explain with misremembered details. So yeah, instead we have this fluffy straw hat experience. We call this knockoff Luffy from One Piece. And do you want to draw, Eric?
The winner is Blake on Twitter.
Blake on Twitter. Do you know Blake's story?
I
do you remember it?
I do not.
Oh,
it's okay.
Oh, I thought
I actually believe Blake might have said misremembering a game, and he gave us Deck If World.
Deck If Wow.
Which
that's so meta.
Which I said, well played.
World. Okay, kind of into that. Also, it's also interesting because that's like also calling Deck of Worlds a game, which it is a game, but it's also not a game.
I think we had lots of fun right here.
Yes. Okay, congratulations, Blake. We will reach out to you to connect to get your details so we can send you a gift card. Thank you all so much for celebrating Deck of World's 5th anniversary with us. This was so much fun. Actually, we built 5 micro settings.
We did.
Wow, it's almost serendipitous. Thank you, Michael, so much for joining us. Dead Aussie Gamer. Make sure everyone checks him out. And thank you, Rachel Kimberly Hastings of Storyteller Treehouse, who also joined us. Thank you all to chat for bringing your creative storytelling front and center to World Build with us. And we will see you all next time.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you all.